I love web swinging.
Nothing like ejaculating from your hands.
What are you doing there? Nothing, Mom! Slinging webs!
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
I got web juice all over my bed!
You better stop that. You're going to go blind.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the VGBits BitCast. It is August 31st, 2018, and it's Friday! Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me this week.
Welcome.
TJ, you are remote again.
I am.
At this point, and Cody is, again, frozen. Don't make me Paul Walker this, please.
Every single podcast.
Well, you're frozen, and it's the only way to get you moving. So, I've got to do it anyway. And with a very, very special guest, Awesomemattg. Thank you for joining us this week.
Yay.
Yay.
So happy.
I know, right?
Yay.
Yay.
Can't believe I signed up for this shit.
Like, what am I going to do with the next 2.5 hours, or almost 3 hours, depending on how far we go down rabbit holes this week? We'll never know until the time to start, so.
Well, I am here today.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We can start talking about movies, and we can start talking about TV shows.
Nope. This week it's board games and D&D.
Board games and D&D. I can get on board with that. Specifically
This
D&D.
week I'm not on vacation, and I'm depressed.
Oh, yeah, you're working now.
I miss being on vacation.
Nice, isn't it?
It was so nice.
I miss having summer.
I could care less about summer.
Yeah,
I can't-
well, you're not taking... how many credits am I taking? 15 credits this semester?
Woo!
Ooh. I assume that's a lot.
That's slightly more than the full load.
Full time is supposedly 12 credits.
Why you do this?
Because 3 of my classes are all 4-credit classes.
Edumacation.
I'm just
Why I
ready for
didn't
the
go to
hot to
college.
be over.
Me too.
We're getting there. It's almost good weather time. I can't wait for it. That whole little week in Texas where it's just perfect weather.
I feel like it's going to come really late because summer came real late.
It's possible.
Yep.
We're going to be trapped in hell for another few weeks.
And I sure hope not.
I'm looking forward to getting out on the four-wheelers and hitting the trails again. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I have gone and bought a new helmet, new goggles, and I just recently bought new racing gear.
A what?
Ooh.
I bought racing gear. It'll be here tomorrow.
Awesome.
I match now. Now everybody will look at me and go, look at this guy. He has too much
that
money.
Why you put up a picture of a helmet?
Well, that's the helmet he just
No,
bought.
that's the helmet that I just bought. I bought that.
Yeah, that's why you... Okay.
I literally walked into, there's the local dirt bike and motorcycle joint down here. I walked in and I was buying a helmet for my girlfriend because we were going to go riding soon. And I was like, well, I need to go ahead and get her a helmet so that way she didn't crack her head open on all these low-hanging branches. And when I walked in, and after we had found her helmet, I turned around and I looked, and there was this helmet that's down on the bottom of the shelf. It was matte gray with brown accents. And I said, that's a nice looking helmet. And I turned around to my right, and the last pair of goggles on the shelf that matched the gray and the brown perfectly. And I said,
All right.
I was like, oh, now I got to buy it. And then I bought it. And then I proceeded to go on Racing Gear website and look out for a full suit. So I guess it was lucky enough that I wasn't actually in the mood to buy a side-by-side because I may have bought a side-by-side at that point too. I was on impulse that day. I was just like, I want to buy that. I want to buy that. I want to buy that.
That's how I live every day.
You guys need
That's a
to
dangerous.
talk to me on those days, so that way I can just be like,
Can I have that? Can I have that? Can I have that?
Look, man, it's gonna be nice to have a disposable income because as a college student who barely is making enough to pay his bills every month.
One day, man.
Yeah, one day you get to that point and you just be like, hey, you just come down to Texas. Everything's cheap except the housing right now, and it'll go down soon enough.
I hope so.
Comparatively, it's still pretty damn cheap.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Versus everywhere
I
else,
mean-
we're pretty good.
I mean, yeah, you're renting a house for what it costs to rent like a 1-bedroom apartment in town.
And we were running a studio out of it.
Mm.
But we digress. Guys, how about we talk about, I guess we're going to stick with this, the business this week.
I can't
Cody,
believe we're sticking with that.
I don't know. I can't think of anything better. If you've got anything better for a suggestion, I am wide open for things that we've played. I'm even including things that we've watched that's interest or anything else of that nature. Let's open it up and find out what's going on with people. I know I've got some stuff this week. Who wants to chime in first?
I will because it's short.
Okay,
I was gonna
DJ.
I played Monster Hunter last weekend, and then I went back to work. And then
Ooh.
I played Monster Hunter for an hour last night, and then I went to sleep. And that's all I've done.
Oh,
all
so
week.
you haven't been playing any games at all.
I have been way too busy. It has been super busy. Like, nothing. I pulled out my Switch, and I was like, oh, you're dead, and I plugged it in, and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Bummer.
sucks. Yeah, it's been a very depressing week. I miss being off work. I'm gonna quit my job.
You quit
I'm
your
gonna quit my
job?
job.
You're
I'm
gonna
just
quit your
do
job?
Twitch full time.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. If you could support yourself Twitch full time, go right ahead. Until that
Okay.
point, don't
Absolutely.
quit.
Daniel's like, no, please don't.
Like, stop that. All right, TJ. So you really haven't did a whole lot other than basically what we talked about last week with Monster Hunter, Monster Hunter, Monster Hunter, Monster Hunter, Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Which before that was No Man's Sky, No Man's Sky, No Man's Sky, No Man's Sky.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm a one-trick pony. As
that's
far
all
as
right.
gaming goes.
And it's always also Rocket League.
Oh yeah, I did play some Rocket League too.
Yep.
I figure that's just a given.
Yeah. At this point, it's your constant state.
Mm-hmm.
It's news if you play anything other than Rocket League.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Matt. What have you been playing?
I've been mostly playing World of Warcraft and RimWorld. Been enjoying those two a lot.
How is the new content for World of Warcraft?
I'm enjoying it. I like a lot of the new features they've added. One of the things I didn't like, I had played originally from Burning Crusade through Lich King, and then I stopped, and I didn't pick it up again until a few months ago. And so I jumped in towards the end of Legion, and a lot of the stuff was really confusing for me because I'd been gone for like 6 years. And I didn't like the way they had handled some of the features. Like the whole profession-based system was basically, if you jumped into the game in Legion, like let's say that's the first time you ever joined World of Warcraft and you picked up a profession, you could start leveling up a profession in Legion and it would level you up from level 0, and all your skills would go up by like 20 points at a time because they needed you to get to the Legion profession stuff so that you could experience the Legion content. And it really bummed me out because I was all like, this is kind of, it felt like cheating because now you don't have to go back and experience the old content in order to level up like I had to when I first started. And what they did with this most recent expansion, Battle for Azeroth, is they went back and they set aside each expansion's set of professions was its own numerical value. So you would go from like 0 to 400 for the base game, and then there was 150 tacked on top of that for each additional expansion. And so, I mean, you could skip 4 or 5 expansions and not do them at all. But if you wanted to make something from a previous expansion, you had to go back to that area and level it up. So it's kind of a way for them to not really force players to go back and experience old content, but if you want to do something that was released with the old content, you're going to have to go back over there and at least look at the area, you know? So I thought that was kind of nice. Some of the original expansions were some of my favorites.
Yeah, mine too. Granted, I haven't played anything since Wrath of the Lich King.
Come back.
I can't. Look, unless someone would like to pay me $15 every month to be playing, I will stream it and I will play it.
I'm sure if you started streaming it, people would pay. Get some subs in there, some bits. You just put a sub goal, $14.99 for the month.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you like World of Warcraft? Bits, please.
I'm pretty excited about a plan I have upcoming as well for streaming. Well, you guys, I know Cody and TJ know what it is already, but
Oh, is that room in the Discord that I occasionally pop into that I'm not really supposed to be in?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
But
Do
no,
I
I'm
know?
gonna-
Because yeah.
I've played through all of the Mass Effect series,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
I really love that series. And
I know what it is.
I've recently got my wife interested in
Yeah.
science fiction, and so she didn't watch me play Mass Effect. She doesn't know anything about the story, so I'm gonna actually play the game, but she's gonna be sitting next to me and she's gonna make all the decisions throughout the story and things like that. So that's gonna be interesting.
That is cool.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Cappy's hilarious.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear her commentary and banter on things.
It's gonna be interesting.
Now that's
I
gonna
look
be
forward
interesting.
to Cappy plays.
Really, Matt plays, but Cappy directs.
There you go.
Yeah.
A Cappy production.
Mindy and Cappy Productions presents Awesomemattg plays.
You're doing it wrong. Kill them. I'm trying.
It's gonna be a lot of that.
Why did you kill them? They looked nice. That's
Yeah,
gonna be good.
guys.
So, do you expect those to be like super long streams, like you've been doing, or maybe only a couple hours at a time? Are you gonna chunk them up for YouTube?
I don't know. We'll play it by ear. We'll do it live.
Do it live.
Playing long enough till
No.
you get to a point like this looks like a good spot.
Exactly.
Or until Cappy just gets up and walks away.
Pretty much.
I'm bored.
I've had enough of the decision making.
I'm gonna go play Minecraft.
Awesome.
Oh,
I look forward to that.
so you've also been playing RimWorld, and I've seen Cody play some RimWorld, and I've seen some of your RimWorld stuff that's been posted onto YouTube. How was RimWorld? What's your opinion?
I enjoy it a lot. I'm anxious for the final release because it's primarily a one-man show over there.
Oh wow.
So it's taken him a long time to finish everything. And he's basically said that once he releases 1.0, he's pretty much done with the game. He's not going to touch it again because I think he's been working on this game for like 5 or 6 years now.
Oh wow.
Dang.
Ooh.
And so he's ready to be done. And he's on the last stages of polish and minor bug fixing and stuff like that. So I think he said he anticipates the game coming out before the end of this year, or at least the 1.0 version. And then he's like, then I'm gonna do something else, and the modding community can handle the rest of it. But it's great. I'm playing the newest, like, he labels it as unstable release in Steam because you have to go into like the beta options and tell it to download these unknown or these unstable versions, and it's not really unstable. It's just he has to put it there because he's not happy with it yet. And the only downside with that is there's no, like, the modding community that's behind RimWorld is very supportive, and they do a lot of stuff for the game, and they've added a lot of good features. But a lot of the big modding guys for RimWorld have basically said, we're not going to touch any of the beta releases. We're going to wait until 1.0 comes out. So unless you're playing the current stable release, there's not really a lot of mods for any of the beta versions that have had updated features added to the game. So that's part of the reason why I'm anxious for 1.0 to come out, is so that I can go into the modding section of Steam and actually pull down a bunch of the really good mods that I'm looking forward to, like telling the simple fact of telling your person that when you leave a room, just turn the light off when you leave. If nobody else is in the room, turn the light out.
Yeah.
And otherwise you have to manually tell everybody to go turn lights on and off all day long. And it's at that point you're just like, screw it, just leave all the lights on all day long. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But it's you don't think it's going to be that big of an energy drain until you get like this really big base and you have like 60 lights throughout the entire base, and now you're drawing like 50 kilowatts of just light bulbs.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
where
crazy.
I've been, especially with the sun lamps.
That's why I select my starting zones in year-round growing, so I don't
Yeah.
need sun lamps.
Yeah, that I didn't realize that was a thing because the only people I watched was you and another buddy of mine play it, and I was like, I always love playing, near mountains, like digging into them and building a huge base in the mountains. Like, it's harder for them to assault you if all your important stuff is hidden in a giant tomb of stone. 'Cause
Sure.
they can dig through the stone if they want to, but typically it's easier for them to just like come in through the front door. Whereas, like, when you build in like a standard temperate area without any mountains or obstructions, they could just assault your base from any direction, and it's harder to. It can be harder, that is, to defend it. So I was like, mountain sounds like a great way to go. And then I got winter and started running low on food because I didn't farm enough. So I had to like assign everyone to hunt animals, and then there were no more animals, and I was starving. And I was like, this is not good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things I learned really quick when I first started playing is set up your beds and then start a farm.
Yep.
Like 1, 2. That's it. Everything else is secondary. You're like, oh, I want to build like a place where I can have a poker table and my citizens can have fun and play poker with each other. And you do all that, and then you realize like 3 days later, all your food's gone.
Yep.
And you're like, holy crap.
Especially if you're not careful and all your animals start eating your food too.
Oh, that is the worst.
Wow.
No fun, only work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is how I almost starved, because I had a bunch of animals just come and like eat all my food. I was like, I just had 150 meals. Where'd they all go?
All your like dogs and cats were running into your fridge and eating all your food.
Yep.
What?
But I didn't
jerks.
have kibble for them because no one was making kibble. I was like, come on.
Well, now you've got a ready food supply that's well fed.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. But dogs are worth a lot on the market. They're like
the
100 or 200 some odd.
The medium-sized dogs are worth a lot, like the labs.
Yeah,
those can go for
and huskies.
thousands of dollars.
Wait a minute. You can eat the dogs in the game?
Yeah. I mean, it's really sad. I didn't notice this at one time, but I had a pair of labs, and they had bred, and I had like 7 or 8 puppies just running around from, I think, 2 different litters. And a trading ship came by, and I was all like, perfect, I'm going to sell off some of my dogs because I don't I don't have enough. I'm not making enough food to support all these animals. It's not a problem. And I'll make some money off of this. So I sell the dogs. And then someone points out after I sold my labs to this vendor that further down his what do you want to buy or sell from me list, he wanted to sell me Labrador meat. So I had sold a bunch of labs to a Labrador slaughtering place. And I was all like, oh, that's why they were paying me such high dollar for these labs.
I see you have Labradors.
He goes
I went
to
a
a
high
good
price.
home. Oh God, yeah.
What?
So now I get.
Go on.
I've named some of my animals after like viewers or like Cappy. I'll usually name the first animal after my wife. And this one time she was like a cat. She was like 14 years old. And then a trader came by and I was like, I don't want Cappy to die. She's getting old. And a trader came by and was selling an exact same cat, female, like 3 years old. So I sold Cappy, bought the other one, and just renamed it Cappy. And I was like, you went backwards in years.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, now you don't have to worry about dying. And she's like, but you sold me. I'm like, no, I didn't. You're right there. You're 4.
You pulled the goldfish trick.
Exactly. It just so
oh
happens
my
to
God.
be with my wife.
Perfect.
That's beautiful.
Got rid of you and replaced you with a younger, better version.
And I named her the same.
Look, you're a trophy pet now.
Oh my God.
That's rude.
I hope she doesn't watch this podcast.
You know she's going to.
Yeah.
Oh,
As soon as it comes out, I'll just timestamp this part and just send it to Cappy. Like, Cappy, look at this disgusting behavior.
It's awesome because she's not even in the room right now.
See, one of my favorite things about it is somehow, and I have no idea how I keep getting so much, but I will get like multiple hundreds of human flesh or human leather. I don't know where it comes from. I just suddenly look in my inventory and I've got like a couple hundred, human leather, and I'm just like, no one wants to wear a human leather jacket. No one wants to wear a human leather hat, because I did that before. I didn't realize what I was making them wear, and I was like, here, wear this. You're cold. Wear this human leather parka. And I was like, wait.
You know what's great is there's a I forget what they call them. There's like an emotional state where one of them is like they don't care about the suffering of others, and so they're totally content to watch other people suffer and die in front of them, and they just really don't care. And so you can make them human leather clothes, and they just don't give a damn. They're just like, awesome, it's a jacket, sweet.
Keep that in mind. Most people, though, get super grossed out about it, though, and they become very unhappy, which is totally understandable. I wouldn't want to wear human flesh as a jacket. That's gross. So I wait until caravans come by, and then I'll just sell it to them, and they'll buy it for, like $20 or $30 a piece.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes, like, human leather is great on the market.
They pay high dollar for that because the tribes people, that there's groups of tribesmen. They'll wear flesh. They don't care.
Hot.
Yeah.
This is a fascinating game.
I look like Daniel was over there calling the police.
I know, right?
Like, oh my God, I gotta call somebody.
What are you talking about? I'm not tapping you guys right now.
Eating dogs and wearing people.
Yeah.
The American dream.
You could also wear dogs and eat people.
Yeah. You can cannibalize people, and there are people who are cannibals and prefer to eat humans.
That's right. I remember you talking about that.
And if one of your guys happens to go unconscious or dies, sometimes they will just take them and hide their body and eat it later.
What?
There are some people who will go into a corpse obsession or a death obsession, and if you have graves, they will go exhume a grave, carry the person's corpse, back inside and like throw it on the table and just leave it there.
Should have been called Human Depravity, the game.
Wow.
They get so upset about something, they mentally break, and they're just like, I'm gonna go get a body and throw it on this table, and everyone will suffer for it.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I just imagine them walking in like the break room, they're carrying a corpse, and they just lay it down like, fuck everybody.
Yep.
How do you like this? I'm out.
As soon as that body hits the table, they're fine. They're like, you know what? I'm feeling so much better, and they walk off and continue on their day like nothing happened.
Like somebody needs to bury Pete again.
You have an outburst at work. You just yell at somebody at work. You're like, I feel better. I feel better now.
Yeah.
There's a corpse on the table and everybody's mad. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to Arby's.
Roast beef.
I think I saw a dead dog out on my way in. I'm going to go grab that.
Roast Labrador.
Yeah.
It's a super fun game.
Wow.
I've been meaning to pick it back up.
Well, once 1.0 comes out, they'll update that multiplayer mod, and then you and I can play with each other, Cody.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
I'd like to play with you.
I've got to
I
watch
was going to say, hey,
this.
keep it PG, but this podcast is not PG.
It's never PG.
I'm gonna send caravans to your civilization and sell you my meat.
Noise. I think you broke him.
Oh, not for sale. Okay. Oh my gosh. I've got to watch this game now. I have got to watch this because I've never been one for like the world building sim, kind of like how this game is. But I'll watch it because it. I mean, I've watched people build roller coasters and Roller Coaster Tycoon, so I've got to watch more of this.
I'm the same way. Like I want to get into it, but at the same time, like that's a big time investment. So my favorite thing is for them to name a character after me, and then I get invested in that character and see what they do,
Tune
I
in.
think you're still my sheriff right now.
which is great. I believe. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think in every single game that I've named you, you've hit on ladies, and every single one has turned you down.
Oh,
Art imitates life.
sad
Sad.
face.
Yeah.
Sorry,
It's like
TJ.
Lucid is
So mad at you, Baka.
I know, right? That's the one I was just gonna say. It was like Lucid was dating Baka in one of my games, and then, like after a couple of months, he proposed marriage, and she was like, "Nah, I think we should see other people."
I was devastated, I think.
You were devastated for like 15 days. It took a long time for you to get over that.
Wow. Poor guy.
I know.
Did I eat
I
any dogs?
I just sent him to the mines.
Don't, my friend, down to the mines with you. That's a bro move right there.
I got your back.
Find some love and some work.
Yep, Lucid, you are still my sheriff.
Awesome. I
Did
think
you
I-
load up the game just to check?
I did.
He did. I watched, as soon as he said it, I watched. Cody is now playing RimWorld.
I had to check and see. Wow, I forgot how huge my colony was.
I think in one of Matt's games, I know you've started like 3 times, 3 or 4 games.
I get near to the end game, and then I'm like, I don't want to experience the end game until 1.0 comes out, so I'll just restart.
Yeah, I just remember one I was biting people. It was fun.
Oh, you would get into a fight. You bit my mom's fingers off. You got into a fight with my mom, and you bit her fingers off. I had to give
That'll show her.
I had to give her a bionic arm so that if you got in a fight again, she could punch you in the face.
Oh, that's badass though. That's an
Yeah.
awesome trade-off.
See, for me, Lucid has he went deaf. He was deaf when I first got him.
I remember that.
So I surgically implanted cochlear implants in both of his ears.
Nice.
And then like 2 days after that was his birthday, He turned 57 and he got cataracts in both eyes.
I'm fucking busted.
Oh, you have no idea. Your left lung is destroyed. Your left big toe is destroyed, and
Not
your
my
left
toe.
ring finger is destroyed.
Jesus, fix me, dude.
I sent one of my guys turned 65, I think, and had a massive heart attack.
Shit.
And I ended up using like half my medicine in the entire colony just trying to get his heart attack under control. And then the next, like 2 days later, was his birthday. This was before his birthday, actually. 2 days later was his birthday or something like that. And then he went feeble. So, like, he lost half of his abilities.
Oh, wow.
And then I just made a cryo sleep chamber and put him in cryo sleep.
Oh.
I was just like, I don't want to get rid of you and kill you, but you're useless. Just stay in there and stay out of it. Stop eating my food and using my medication.
Into the meat locker with you.
Basically. I was like, I'll pull you out when we build the spaceship and leave. And then I restarted and he's gone now.
Everybody died.
See, that's funny that you mentioned the heart attack thing, because I had one guy. I actually started with Matt as one of my original 3 colonists.
Nice.
And I got to a point in the game where I had the technology to do like heart transplants and get him a bionic heart or a prosthetic heart, something like that. And I was like, awesome. Matt has had like artery blockages for the longest time. He needs a new heart. I want to make sure that he doesn't die. Like literally right before I was able to put him under anesthesia, he had a heart attack. They grabbed him, moved him to the hospital bed. Someone went to go get medicine, went to apply it to him, and before they could apply it to him, he died.
Oh.
Wow.
I was like, I was just about to give you a heart, Matt. You couldn't wait.
Like,
You
nope,
broke
I'm
my
out.
heart, Cody.
Oh. Sad.
Darn it, Matt.
Oh, wow.
Press F to pay respects.
No! No!
F.
Oh, gosh, that was so terrible.
F.
Q.
There's the question. Can you actually not press F and just wait until the funeral ends?
No, you just stand there doing nothing awkwardly.
Alt F4. There, game over.
I hit
Fixed
a variant of F.
Oh, that was such a stupid thing to add to that
It
game.
was terrible.
Press F to do this mandatory thing. Okay.
It's like, you're gonna pay your respects. Push the button. Just push the button. No.
And we did.
And then life went on. Dun, dun, dun. So, Cody, what have you been playing?
Oh boy. Aside from Monster Hunter, which I actually just played a little bit earlier,
I saw.
I was like, I finished my homework, and I was like, I still have a couple hours till the podcast. So you know what? I'm gonna play a little bit of Monster Hunter. I'm just gonna jump back in because our good friend and constant emailer Mike happened to buy me Monster Hunter World.
Wow.
Oh, what a bro. What a
No
bro.
lie.
Why?
I thought
No.
you said no.
No, I said no lie. TJ said,
Oh,
what a bro,
oh.
and I said no lie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I
Mike-
didn't hear
Mike-
the no part. I just thought he called you a liar.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, Discord hiccuped right when you said no, so just give us lie.
Cody, you're a liar.
I heard lie as well, and I was like, why would he say lie? Maybe he said lie. That would make more sense. But yeah, so he randomly messaged me one day and he was like, hey, did you buy this yet? And I said, no. Are you going to buy it for me? Because he's done this in the past. He'll just be like, hey, have you done this? No, why? 3 minutes later, you have received a gift.
I think I may have done that.
Yeah, Lucid's done that. But so I am now the proud owner of Monster Hunter World, the first and only Monster Hunter game that I have ever owned and thoroughly played for more than about 2 hours. And yeah, I loaded that up today. Got some high rank Pookie armor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and upgraded a couple of my weapons, and it's a big ol' flying. Okay, imagine like It's a frog mixed with a bat, mixed with a moth, mixed with a chameleon.
Are we talking about Pookie Pookie?
Yeah,
Yeah, Pookie Pookie's a fucking mess.
yeah.
That's
He's
weird.
basically a chameleon, but he also flies, and he's got a long tongue that like shoots out, and like he'll whip you with it and stuff, and then he spits poison, and he's weird.
Okay.
Matt, have you played the game at all? Or have you seen the game, rather? Because I know you haven't played it.
I've seen a little, not a lot. Like basically, I watched this one guy who had a video clip of they were all like, "You want a tutorial? Here's a tutorial. You're on a boat fighting a like 900-foot tall dragon. Go!" And they're just like, "What?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you fight, well, that's Zora. I mean, you don't really fight him. You fight parts of him.
Well, I mean, if he's that big, it's not like you're like duking it out with the guy. You're
Yeah.
like shooting him in the knee.
Sit him on the back and just stab him all the time.
Pretty much, he's got moles, and you gotta go whack his moles.
Yeah.
So you're playing whack-a-mole.
Sort of, but the moles don't go away. You just keep hitting them.
Yeah, I was gonna say either that or they're more like zits, and you have to smack them till they pop.
That's more accurate.
Erotic.
And
yeah,
sometimes while you're hitting them, like, because he's like a big old fire or magma type, he's basically a walking volcano. And while you're attacking these like moles, they'll just shoot lava out of them to hurt you. So
it's real hard to explain without sounding stupid and gross.
This is equally awesome and ridiculous at the
Yeah,
same
well,
time.
that's Monster Hunter. It's ridiculous and awesome.
yeah, it really is.
Cool.
Like, I should let you. I should share my thing with you so you can play it.
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't enjoy playing it, but I'm pretty sure I would enjoy watching it.
You might.
Basically, the premise is to hunt monsters, to basically like learn their move sets and how think of it like a raid battle, or like World of Warcraft raid, where like you go up against a boss who has move sets and stuff like that. It's kind of like that.
Really, the point is to hunt these monsters and kill them so you can make some cool ass armor.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all for the armor, apparently.
Fashion hunter.
Fashion hunter.
The thing that I do when I play, and I did this like every time there's a cut, I'm like F12, 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 F12. These are all badass screenshots of my character's cool ass armor. Like, I got one. I don't think I posted. I need to post it in the Discord, but it's a dope screenshot. I was like, man, that's a cool shot. Very, very cool.
Matt, I'm going to show you some screenshots in the Discord in a few moments once the game loads. And if this doesn't sell you on the game, I don't know what will.
Let's all pause to dig into our screenshot
We will.
folders.
Not all of us here.
But yeah, like I'm a big fan of it. Like I want to play Generations Ultimate on the Switch, but it's while it is better. If you Spacesuit Cat. I rock that armor on my cat forever.
Yeah, I need to farm HR Radabon to get the armor again.
Yeah. But like I was gonna pick up Ultimate on the Switch because it is out now. So if anybody wants to go get it, it's out. But World has made the game so much more accessible than the handheld. It's handheld, like if you look at them, they're the same game on the surface, but when you get down into it, they're very different games. Like World is a much more streamlined, just easier to pick up, easier to play, and then you go back to Generations or any of the older ones, and you're like, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of quality of life things that aren't there in the older ones. I have that armor too. Zora armor. So Like it's really hard to go between the two. The good thing about the older ones is the armor, or not the armor and the weapons. There's so much. Yeah.
Sorry.
Just the armor and the weapons look so much better in the handheld versions because I guess they've had like a decade of just making these really cool armor sets and weapons, and I don't think they transferred that into the new one in the world. I think mostly because Capcom didn't believe it would be as successful as it is.
Probably.
Yeah. Which I'm hoping with its huge success now that Capcom will be like, let's start porting over these more monsters and better weapons or better weapon skins and stuff.
So this is a Capcom title?
Yes, this is Capcom's game.
Yep.
Is anything from this in Marvel vs. Capcom?
No. Or maybe. I mean,
I don't think so.
I don't know. I've never played Marvel vs. Capcom.
I thought they had an event for Marvel vs. Capcom not too long ago, and they kind of shut it down short, I thought, and then they actually put on well, they kind of turned it around and then made it into a Monster Hunter event that went on, I want to say 4 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like a really big Monster Hunter World thing where they were just showing off the game and people were coming and playing, and it was kind of like, well, we can't really put stuff into Marvel vs. Capcom right now, so here, let's show off this instead. Because, Monster Hunter's always been a Japanese-based series. It's always been way popular in Japan than it has been in the U.S. Leagues and leagues beyond. And Monster Hunter World has kind of actually helped. I'm not going to say it's closed the gap, but boy, it's starting to sew it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely filled in a spot here that is more accessible for a U.S. sort of audience. Because I mean, the game it's so much easier to pick up. It's like I have a 4U on my 3DS, and I popped it in, and I was like, wow, this game is very different.
Oh, don't remind me about 4U. There's some people out there that are hardcore about 4U. Like 5 seconds into the game when I was on the boat at the very beginning of 4U, I ran my character around and clipped into geometry, and I was like, like, this isn't very impressive. 5 seconds in, I'm clipping into geometry. Screen cap, post on Nintendo's channel for all their social commentary stuff, and I said, 5 seconds in and clipping into geometry, and I had like hate mail right off the bat. Like, if you don't like it, shut it off. I'm like, all right. Never put it back in.
Yeah. For those people out there that are like that, fuck yourselves.
Good way to put it.
Yeah.
But,
fuck them.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, World's great. I think everyone should play it, or at least try it once.
Yeah,
You got to play it for like about 4 hours, so you get past the beginning parts, and there's about an hour worth of cutscenes and character creation, and then going through the tutorial area, and then you go fight stupid monsters. You're like, these are dumb. When do I fight the big monster? And like, fuck, finally I got to him. You're an hour and a half in.
there was definitely 2 hours of character creation for me at first.
Yeah.
Because first off, video games need to learn to label their colors.
Just give us the color codes.
Give me color codes, or label the palettes that you have. Do not just give me big color palettes or color wheels or whatever you want to call them, because for the love of God, RGB values suck. And they're terrible for anyone who's color deficient.
That guy.
Yeah. So it took me forever just to pick out like the colors of my character and what I wanted it to be, because without fail, because of the RGB scale that they used, everything turned out like green or purple. When all I wanted was like blonde or blue.
Well, see, if you chose green and purple.
I like green and I like blue. But things that I wanted to be blonde were green, and the things that I wanted to be green, I think ended up being like orange.
Oh yeah.
Because they just didn't have the right shades of the colors that I wanted, and that's what was bothering me, as well as just not knowing what color I was picking whatsoever. But then I got to the part where you get to name your palico, and I froze.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to have a lifelong companion, he is going to have an awesome name.
I named mine after my previous cat. Actual cat, not game cat.
Trying to remember what your cat was.
Onion was the first one.
That would be perfect for the Radabout armor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I first named mine Sir Possible, like P-A-W, because he's a cat, so Paw. And then when I was doing it the second time, I realized, how did I somehow miss Sir Percival? More accurate to the name, and it's another cat pod. So. He is now Sir Percival, and he is a cutie.
I was gonna say, as you can see in Discord, but they can't see our Discord.
Oh,
Daniel,
I can.
I throw them up over my face.
No. I can see all of these things now. I've actually the Eskimo.
He's got like a fur coat.
I grabbed my phone so I could start looking at some of these things now that you're talking
I'm
about.
so freaking proud of that fur coat. Like his little arms, just like, yeah, look at me, yeah.
I got a fucking cloak. I'm badass.
It looks like it's something out of Ice Climbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the pink one? You gotta have a pink one if you gotta have a blue one.
Man, one day they'll let us dye them in different colors.
Oh, then that's more trouble. That's more customization than you could ever ask for.
Fashion Hunter, man.
Woo!
Yeah, man. And I totally agree with you, Lucid, on the fact that you need to play it for at least 4 hours. Because I was completely against buying it or wanting to play it, and I was forced to play it. And then like 8 hours later, I was like, yeah, I guess it's kind of fun. And now I own it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Well, has there been anything else?
Game-wise, I haven't really been playing anything else, but I did start my second to last semester for college, as well as my internship. So,
Yay!
So that's what I've been up to, and I've been having to get up at around like 6:15 to like 6:50 in the morning every single day.
Oh, welcome to almost my time.
Yeah. So I've just been like, I think if it were a normal day, like if I were just going to work and coming home, I'd probably be fine. But I'm on Monday, I'm driving, going to work, and then sitting there most of the day, not doing anything. So by the time I get home, I'm just tired and sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
Like yesterday, I was literally falling asleep at my desk because there was nothing to do. I'm sitting there and I just feel my eyes kind of doing this and doing this, and
then you start falling over and you're like, oh God.
Yep. And yeah, I literally would just get up and walk around the campus to keep myself awake because there was nothing for me to do. We were just waiting for calls to happen to see if anyone needed help with anything, and so
that's the life.
Yep. Which, I mean, it's not so bad because it's fun to sit there and, talk with everyone and make jokes and that sort of thing. Because I actually get to hang out with people and socialize now, which is fun. And I don't have to do, like, stupid, tedious things. But it's just annoying for me because, like, I just want to, like, get my hands dirty and start doing things and work on stuff. But they just don't have any projects right now. So, I'm taking statistics this semester, which I've started, and so far is not so bad. I'm okay with it. Homework's been pretty easy, but I'm waiting for it to get it's like that first little baby step you take, and then they expect you to climb a cliff. Like that's where I'm waiting for it to hit. So
statistics should be pretty easy.
I hope so. Like maybe not easy is the right word, but like simple. Like I want to be challenged. I want to learn, but I don't want it to be like the point where I'm literally panicking and feeling like I'm going to fail the class.
Just remember, it's what I tell all my friends when they start talking about statistics, and as I'm like, statistics and probability are two completely different things, and they're not even related. So too many times you see people going in to start arguing statistics and then they relate them to probability, and it's like that's not how this works. I mean, there is some correlation there, but only in relative standards. Like the numbers do not correlate at all.
Yeah, I think we'll go slightly into some probability, but for the most part, it's just straight up statistics, like how to do statistics with research and sample groups and populations and all that sort of fun stuff. But I have 3 of my friends that are in the tutoring center, and they keep telling me if I need any help, just let them know. One of them lives like 5 minutes away from me, so she's like, doesn't matter when, if you need help, let me know. The other one let me borrow for the entire semester one of the super expensive TI-84 calculators. It's like $200.
Ooh.
She's like, yeah, you can just borrow it for the semester. Have fun. I'm like, thank you so much. I didn't want to buy one of those.
I had to buy a TI-83 once. It was I was in a calculator club in high school.
Okay.
Calculator club?
It was a math competition.
Okay.
But you can do it, all the math was done on calculators.
Right.
And we had certain types of math that was quicker to be done on something like a TI-83, and then certain kinds of math problems that were faster to be done on this really strange backwards programmed HP calculator where you type in a number, submit the number, type in the second number, and then tell it what you wanted to do between the number you submitted and the number you just typed. So it wasn't like 2 + 2, it was 2 store 2 add.
Huh.
Wow.
And there were certain math problems that were written out in such a way where there'd be like 12 different kinds of, I don't know what it's referred to now, but you know, the whole parentheses, exponents, add, subtract, multiple, divide.
Right.
Exactly. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally or whatever they called it.
Yep.
There were certain problems that you'd have like 20 of these things in one problem, and you could sit there and on that calculator you'd be able to calculate the whole problem in like 30 seconds.
Wow.
If you got the rhythm down, you could just look. I got really fast at one point. I could just like look at the page and type on the calculator without looking, and then look and just write the answer down. So it was primarily just you had to learn how to break the problem down, and then you had to be fast on the calculator, and that's all it really was.
Huh.
My niece just started junior high, and she actually does basically she does calculator competition for UIL.
Yeah, that's what this was.
Yeah, that I know exactly what you're talking about now. This is exactly what she does. And she went to state, and she was actually in San Antonio not too long ago for state.
Cool.
Awesome.
We were never that good. Not even close.
Just for the record, I wasn't laughing that you were in calculator club. It was just the look, the expression you had as you realized that you had to just mention that I'm in calculator club. Fuck.
I was in calculator club.
See, for me, I was homeschooled. I didn't have any clubs. And it was the fact that it was called calculator club is what made me chuckle. Not that it was like you were in calculator club or that it was calculator club. It was just that it was called that. Like I would have expected math club, maybe.
Yeah, but see, this was specifically, we only used calculators. Like there was no handwritten math. There was a math club for the handwritten stuff, but that was not us. And it's a completely separate thing in UIL competitions.
Mm-hmm.
So
fascinating.
That's pretty cool.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about now. It just caught me off guard when you said calculator club. I was like, wait a minute, what?
It makes you think. It was like, was this a club for people that just collected cool calculators?
That's exactly what I thought it was for a minute there.
Well, that's a thing. I follow some YouTubers that do like mathematics and stuff like that. And there's groups of people that will like send in like not ancient calculators, but like calculators from like the 60s and stuff.
Like abacuses?
No,
that's Abacus
yes,
Club. That's
Abacus
totally
is from the 60s.
Well, no, he said ancient calculator, so my first thought was abacus.
That's why I corrected myself, is I was all like, no, this was actually like a physical calculator.
Interesting.
But,
Punch card calculator.
like, yeah, I know, right? It's slide rules and stuff like that.
You just bring in a room filled, like literally an IBM computer that takes up the whole room, and that is your calculator now.
This one can do subtraction.
Ooh.
Every time we turn it on, the power goes out.
You want to do multiplication? Well, we have to change out all the cards in the system, so it'll be a week. But then we can do multiplication. Of course, now these days, kids are making calculators in Minecraft.
Yep.
So that's another whole different thing.
But wow, where I was going with that from the start, because we just went on a calculator tangent.
Sorry,
That was awesome.
sorry to derail that.
There's
Oh,
nothing-
that's fine. That was good.
That-
That was entertaining.
That's some of the best derailing right there is when we go and start
Yeah.
talking about things like that. Because if we start talking about movies, then we're never going to get out of that hole. So
I'm sure the calculator community also appreciates us shouting them out.
shout
Yeah.
out
Represent.
Like, hey, thanks for not just expressly making fun of us.
TI
I'm sure
84
somebody in
plus.
the comments is going to be like, it was this HP calculator, right?
Here's a
If you
That's
picture.
guys
what I
know that
hear.
answer, if you know that answer, leave it in the comments. Let us know. Send us an email. Actually, send us an email.
Emails are great. Bitcast at VGBits.com. I have
There you
all.
go.
I get them immediately on my phone, so I read every single one as soon as it comes through.
But
So
so the same person who lent me the calculator, I somehow because I was talking about statistics, ended up telling them that I have been playing Dungeons and Dragons recently. And so she immediately goes, "Do you have a group that you play with?" And I said, "Yeah, I play with my girlfriend and some of my best friends. Most of them are scattered around, but we play online." And she goes, "Oh, because my son, who's 11 years old, has been really wanting to get into it. I even bought him the starter set, but he just doesn't have anyone to play with, and I don't trust any of like the high schoolers or adults around to let him play with." And I said, "You are very right to not trust them."
That's not fair.
that's
Look,
mean.
man. I've heard so many horror stories, and without knowing them personally, like just taking them to a game club and throwing them in, like you never know what they're going to talk about or do.
Don't
Like-
don't take a little kid and expose him to a like college kids D&D group, because
Oh,
I
no.
did that and that was a very bad experience.
Yeah.
I think I had sex.
No, it's nothing like that.
That's when you come up with like the weird guy who wants to have blue magic in his game, or the people who, you know, turn into serial killers and murder hobos and just start dicing people up in very weird graphic ways. Like,
You say blue magic, and my brain was Final Fantasy VIII. That's the only blue magic I know.
I'm sorry, nymphology.
Oh. Are you pointing at yourself?
For the extremely violent and graphic way, I in one of my D&D games, I accidentally, I gutted someone and stuck my hand up inside them and used them like a puppet.
What the fuck?
Yes, I love it. I love it.
It was
I hope that was a deception roll, like you were trying to get past the guard, be like, no, they're with me.
no, I was just tired of this. We were like interrogating this guy to try to get info, and he wouldn't talk. So I just killed him, and then I was all like, "The key is in the other room."
Matt, that is, I want to say, on par with my friend Wolf, who is playing a half-orc barbarian, killing and then skinning a couple of goblins, and rolling so high on his skin check and deception check that he was able to stitch them together, make a goblin suit, wear it out in front of other goblins, and fool them into thinking that he was one of the goblins that was at this other post. He went up and stood with them and stood guard.
It's a 9-foot goblin.
Actually, he's short for a half orc. I think he's like 5 foot something, but still, like,
Yeah.
It's like twice the size of a goblin.
Yeah, he's basically wearing like a small goblin vest and like their head like as a cowl and like goblin shorts, and they're just like, "Hey, Steve."
Hey.
It was
It's
yeah,
me, Steve.
yeah, it was, but yeah. So long story short, I offered to teach him how to play, and I will probably be running him a campaign. And one of the other tutors, my friend who lives just down the road, was like, I totally want in on that. She's like 20 something, like mid 20s, around my age. And so me and her were going to play D&D with this 11-year-old kid who's the son of the other tutor. And I was like, you know what? My niece, who is about the same age, was really wanting to play. So we're going to take my niece and play D&D with them.
There you
So
go.
It's going to be a good time.
Nice.
That's exciting.
Make like a King's Quest style.
I've never
D&D.
played King's Quest.
They're very lighthearted most of the time.
I will have to do some research on that because I was wondering, what could I run for them? I was tempted to buy The Curse of Strahd, which is all like vampires and death and necrotic and
Perfect
No,
for 11-year-olds.
Probably
11-year-olds
bad
right into
idea.
that.
You might want to run some homebrew stuff. Find a nice
Yeah.
little easy, non tearing people apart.
I tend to prefer like when I start playing D&D, I really get into the not the legit D&D like TSR stuff, but the homebrew versions that some of my friends have made where they've gone for more of a Shadowrun feel. If you're familiar with Shadowrun, it's more what would you call that? Fantasy cyberpunk?
Yeah.
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 okay.
So there's
Yes.
like you still have the fantasy races like elves and orcs and goblins and stuff like that,
Sure.
but it's set in a future modern world that's like industrial, and there's a lot of cyber hacking, and instead of like bows and arrows, you have guns and rifles and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's like a sci-fi fantasy version of D&D, really.
Gotcha.
I would like to shout out a Shadowrun podcast, Neo Scum. It's super good.
I will have to listen to that because I'm caught up on all my D&D podcasts and I need more.
Neo
I
Scum
love
is super
Shadowrun,
good.
dude.
Yeah. It's,
Shadowrun's awesome.
Just to preface what Neo Scum is about, it's about a group. One of them is a truck driver, and they're great.
All right.
They don't know shit about trucks, which is amusing, but I mean, anyway. I'm just like, none of this is true. That's not how any of this works. But I love it. It's a good podcast.
What was that called? Neo Scum?
Yeah, Neo Scum.
I'm gonna look it up.
Do
But
it.
yeah, so I need to find something that's lighthearted enough to run for them, a one-shot something or another. I figured maybe like, a lighthearted, maybe Scooby-Doo-esque murder mystery,
Oh,
or
yeah, there you go.
a generic dungeon dive, or like, go rescue this person, or
Yeah.
something like that might be entertaining. I was thinking about just running the Sunless Citadel, which is one of, I think it's like a 3.5 or 3 edition dungeon where they just go into this sunken citadel and fight a bunch of goblins and kobolds and eventually face off against a guy who is grooming a tree that every year has a harvest of 1 red apple and 1 white apple, and the red apple gives life and the white apple is necrotic and kills people. And I've been running that for my current campaign, so I figured, you know what, I'm familiar with it, I've done it, that one might be entertaining to do.
You might honestly, it may not be a bad idea to just run the Lost Mine of Fendelver for
Don't
them.
have that.
Huh?
I don't have that.
Remember our conversations we had talking about D&D Beyond?
You can have it.
All I have to do
Point.
is just create a little side campaign, and then suddenly you have.
That's fair, and I think I will take you up on that offer because I was also looking at purchasing the book versions of like the Dungeon Master's Guide and the Monster Manual, because right now I have PDF versions, but they're a little bit cumbersome to go through, and I'd have to like lug my laptop there and like an iPad and a whole bunch of stuff to just kind of sift through everything, which I may do anyway, but yeah.
Scroll through a page. Control F.
Well, I tell
And
you,
Control F doesn't work because sometimes the like the title of something is spaced. So instead of it being like skeleton, it's S space K space E space L space E. And that's the only way you can search it. And some of the letters are squished together, so it might be like EL space.
That's really really high fancy OCR right there.
That's why I actually do like D&D Beyond for all of this right here. Is everything can be at your fingertips with your cell phone or your tablet, and you can have a better search functionality than a PDF. It is nice.
Well, my dude, I will take you up on that.
Okay. I'll get
and
you.
If you happen to have,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you happen to have recommendations on good, like vinyl or something battle mats, that aren't super crappy, I will also take you up on that.
I'll keep an eye out and see what I can find.
Ooh, and papercraft. That reminds me, I gotta look up papercraft.
I've been looking minis. I've been looking for minis lately because this is actually part of what I've been doing for the week, and I'll just touch in it right quick until you're finished. I've started writing my homebrew campaign. It has begun, and I have the perfect way of bringing everybody together now and kicking it off, and I'm just so excited that the creativity is now starting to flow, and now I've actually started writing, so yay.
Well, feel free to throw anything at me because I would very much love to be inspired as well.
Oh, I've got a few side little missions like that I can shoot your way. It's some of them are weird, some of them are kind of amusing, but nonetheless.
Weird stuff in D&D?
That's when you know it's been a weird session when everyone gets up and they walk away like, that was fucking weird. Yeah, that would have been weird.
It just
I'm
happened.
going to turn you into a sock puppet.
I want to do that now. My character's going to do that at some point in this campaign, Daniel.
It pushed the lotion on the skin.
Are you a rogue?
Me? No, I'm a... what the hell am I? I'm a barbarian.
You're a barbarian.
I'm a Goliath barbarian.
Yeah, you got a boomstick.
All right.
I can't wait
I'm
to
non-existent.
I can't wait to get that boomstick into the game too. That was such a wonderful idea. It's gonna be so much fun. Okay, Cody. So before I jump in and start talking about what I've been up to, anything else you've been doing besides your D&D?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I finally got that buddy of mine from Canada sent me a copy of Star Fox 64 and The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Ooh.
So I've just got to clean up those cartridges and make sure that they still work, which I might do tomorrow morning because I'll have the time. And then I think I'm going to start The Legend of Dragoon tomorrow, or maybe I'll start The Legend of Zelda if it works.
I thought you already played through Legend of Dragoon.
I started playing through it on an emulator, and the emulator started to kick me off like every 10 minutes. And I think I finally got it to work, but it had been so long, I don't remember what I was doing or where I was. So I figured while I'm going back to school, it'll be very easy to just, turn on the PlayStation, turn on the capture card, and go. Instead of like trying to get the emulator all set up and everything like that, I can just sit down and play.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The good old PlayStation.
I love it, man.
You have one of those little tiny PSXs?
Oh,
The
man.
ones that are like the PS1
Yeah.
that's like this big?
It's like that big. It's solid white.
Yeah.
Ugly
Those.
as hell.
Hey, oddly enough, some of the very, very first PlayStation 1s that were ever released, the audio processing capabilities at the time were on par with $600 or $700 CD players.
Wow.
So people would actually buy PlayStation 1s and use them in their home audio equipment just to play CDs. Just because the audio processing in it was that high end.
That's crazy.
Little weird fact that I happen to know.
It seems to be like Sony's like every time like Sony does something, people are like, well, it's the cheapest this on the market.
Yeah,
Like
Blu-ray players.
Yeah.
Blu-rays, I was like, I'm gonna spend $600 on this because it's the cheapest Blu-ray player you can get.
And I could play games.
Yeah,
That's true. I remember you're fat when you bought it.
yeah. I'm also fat now. Not much has changed.
I love how you just turned that on yourself.
Yay.
All right.
Yes.
Well, for me, this week, I've touched on it already and just said I've started writing my homebrew campaign. And I'm hoping to actually get enough written to where I can actually start, where we can actually start playing it very, very soon. Today was a very good day for creativity and the flow, so I'm excited about that. So we'll see where.
Can't wait to hear about it.
We'll see where D&D. I do really want to record the intro just because I feel like it's kind of it's a little bit different and it's a little more theatrical in how it's going to play out. So I'm excited about that. Outside of that, let's see. I did finally get Win back in the mail and Siphon Filter. So
Nice.
I have not had an opportunity to play them, but I did check the discs over. Everything looks great. So I really need to break in and actually try and play Win back again just to see if I can actually beat that game. Mainly because it was a fun police shooter.
Yeah.
But that's kind of...
Do it on Twitch.
I could do it on Twitch.
We have a Twitch, twitch.tv/.
VGBits.
VGBits.
Where the fuck our URL is.
Link in the
Twitch.tv
description below.
VGBits.
Yeah, there's a link below, surely.
Let's see. Outside of that, for the retro side, some of the newer stuff I broke open Little Dragon's Cafe, and I played it for about 15 minutes just to kind of get an idea how the game is actually going to run or how it's going to be. This really is going to be a Harvest Moon. Like, this feels exactly like Harvest Moon. So, I'm kind of excited to see where this goes. It seems fun. The art style is, I want to say macrame, but that's wrong. It's, golly, what is that? What is that art style called?
Viva la Pinata.
Not like knitting, like the Yoshi game was it?
No. Gosh, golly gee willikers. Where am I trying to come up with the word here? Like scrapbooking. Okay, let me do it like this. It's almost like scrapbooking, except the paper has got all those little textured, like little bumps and stuff and things. That's how everything.
Like Paper Mario, kind of
like Paper Mario, but there's more texture into everything. So there's a print behind everything. So it's just like, the walls maybe have lines that run vertical and horizontal across it that may kind of give it a little flannel look to it. It's really strange, but it's got that cute little aspect behind it that looks, it's like, oh, this could be cute, this could be fun. So I'm interested in continue playing it. I haven't played any more Dead Cells, mainly because I spent my free time this week focusing on a game called Donut County.
Ooh.
What?
I love donuts.
Oh.
I love donuts.
Donut County is it's like a physics puzzle game. If you can imagine Katamari Damacy, except instead of rolling a ball and collecting stuff onto a ball and then making that ball bigger, you're a hole in the ground and you're collecting junk on the ground, and then your hole gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you continue to swallow more and more and more people and animals and houses and rock formations.
I think I did see that game.
My hole gets bigger when I stuff in there too.
I believe it dropped this week for people. It's available on Steam, PS4, Good Old Games, and then the Apple Store. It's Steam right now. It was $11.24 if I remember correctly when I bought it. It's got a little bit of story behind it. You're a raccoon that is playing with a tablet. You're the raccoon who's directing the whole around, and you're just basically going to all your neighbors and then putting your neighbors in a hole and dropping them down into the earth.
Jeez.
I did beat it. It is a very short game, like very, very short. I'm talking 2 hours and you can beat this game. So, but it's a good kind of a little fun thing for just to break off onto the side if you just want to play something and you don't really want to think all that hard. It's super fun and it's easy trophies for PlayStation 4. If you're a trophy hunter, this is a game that you can get easy trophies in. And there's also other little hidden interactions into the game. Like in one level, you can sit there and a bird is throwing charcoal briquettes off of a grill, and you can catch it in your hole, and then your hole erupts fire, and you can just run that fire around. So I ran around and I set everything in the level on fire with the charcoal briquette, and it called me a pyro. So
Dude just went around farting and
it's all the different little things, and it's a lot of fun. And it really
the 14-year-old me loves this.
It's worth the $11 to spend a couple hours playing. I tell you that it has a boss fight level in the game where you have to run consecutive sections of using your hole in the ground to do things and solve puzzles. Using your hole.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
They make jokes like that too. It's all right.
As they should.
It's fun, and there's a lot of things that you can do with the physics. You can shoot things out of your hole.
That's like a lot of it's like you said earlier. It's similar to Katamari Damacy, and that it's when you try to describe Katamari to somebody, it sounds really dumb.
Yeah.
And then you play Katamari, and you're like, "Holy crap! I've spent 8 hours playing Katamari, and I've done like 2 levels."
Mm-hmm.
Just roll stuff around. That's stupid. Fuck yeah, rolling stuff. Fuck yeah.
I really do wish this was a little bit longer of a game. Just because I was having fun. I downloaded it on my laptop and I played it on my laptop while I was at work for about half an hour today. And then when I got home, I was like, well, I'm just gonna finish this, and I knocked it out. And I was like, this is really fun. So
I never thought I would hear myself say, I really want to come back and find a way to fit that piano into my hole.
But it didn't work. I put a whole house in my hole.
The completionist in me made me go and find every little thing on the map and put it in the hole. You got to put everything in your hole. Every time. Fill the hole. So,
where'd Biscuit go?
She's right here.
Okay.
Why?
Just making sure you're not sitting on her.
Why would I sit on my dog?
TJ's putting Biscuit in the hole.
Fat. I'm not like dangerously obese.
Look,
I sat on my
making
dog.
sure she's not in the hole.
Oh, can't put this dog in a hole. She's like, put me down, you asshole.
Like, no. But I do recommend go buy Donut County and play it for a couple hours. It's a good little zen out game, so it's really fun.
Sounds like fun. Any game we get to play Raccoon, I'm all about.
Well, it pretty much puts the icon in the corner, and you're a raccoon, and you're running a tablet to drive the hole, and then that's it. Your mouse pointer is the hole, or you just move it around.
Let's move your hole around.
My goal is just right now to see how many innuendos I could slip in with hole, and just see how long I can take until y'all break.
You just kind of
hard to keep slipping those in.
Well, anything with the hole is easy.
Makes it easier when it's bigger too.
Wow.
I believe you just offended about 50% of the planet.
Oh, go buy your donut holes right now. All right. So that's really
donuts.
I had donuts.
I was gonna say something else, but I should probably refrain.
The other day. That's it for me. Really, that's
Awesome.
That game has kind of dominated my free time. So go play Donut County.
I'll go play with my hole. Yeah.
Go play with your hole.
Oh,
Right. How about we move on to some other things besides our holes when we talk about some news this week?
Hey, news.
This was a really heavy news week for me. I found all sorts of things throughout the week to talk about.
Makes fun of us.
I found some stuff, but I kind of forgot what it was now.
That's
I
not
am now looking.
that's not surprising.
Well, like when I'm driving around, I look at stuff, like an asshole. I don't mean while I'm driving around, like looking at my phone, like what's news?
Like, hold on. News article. Oh, hold on 1 second. There we go.
Let me see. Let me figure out how my phone works because I don't remember how phones work.
Well, here, how about I throw...
Well, you go ahead and start.
I've got a lot of articles. How about I kick this one out? Microsoft is introducing a new... I guess it's... I almost call it a project. It's not really a project. A new thing called Xbox All Access.
Oh, yeah.
It is an Xbox One console with Xbox Live Gold and Xbox Game Pass for one low monthly price.
Your soul.
No? More?
Second thing, say
20
for $1,000.
It's basically $22 a month at 0 APR for 20 months. Which is really interesting.
So you're basically like leasing a console with all the extra shit?
Yeah. And you get gold with it. And you get Game Pass with it. And you get an Xbox with it.
That's pretty good, actually.
It is.
I mean,
this is the super surprising thing.
Like, what is Game Pass? Game Pass is like, what, $6 or $7 a month?
Right. And gold
And then
is
gold is
$60 a
15,
year,
I
so it's
think.
about $5 a month.
What is Game Pass?
Oh, Game Pass is basically Microsoft's version of Netflix for all their games.
Oh, so like you can rent one of their games.
Well, I mean,
basically.
it's basically you have full access to this whole library that they pre-select. They have all their games that they want you to have access to, and you can just say, "Hey, today I want to play Halo," or "Today I want to play Forza," or whatever you want to play.
It's not the entire library. It's like a select library.
But a big selection.
Yeah, it's a rather
Sizable.
large library of Microsoft
Greatest hits.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, like Halo Master Chief Edition's fixing to land on Game Pass. Fallout 4 is on Game Pass now. There were some other Sea of Thieves launched with Game Pass. All these games that like older games but have been really good games are now available, especially a lot of the older 360 games. Now that they've created the backwards compatibility with the Xbox One, you can play a lot of those 360 titles on the Game Pass as well. So
here's a question. Did they happen to say what happens if you decide to stop paying for the console?
That isn't really covered at the moment, but I'm assuming that they're going to just take it back and be like, well, send it back to us.
I think it would be like it's anything. Like if you go and you go to say rent to own, you're like, I'm gonna buy this TV, and then you stop paying on TV, and they're like, you have to give TV back, or we're gonna report you to the credit bureau,
or dump everything onto your card at the same time, and it pays off.
That,
yeah, it's probably more along the lines of what it is.
But
pro tip: use a disposable card. Get yourself free Xbox One.
So, what was my prediction again?
I'm telling you, man.
Did we do that?
That's not the same. That's different. You're getting a console. It's just say like I want to get an Xbox One X, but I really don't want to dump $600 into a console. Yes, we're getting closer. Shut up.
So on a previous podcast, Matt, I basically had a doomsday prediction to where it'll be no more consoles. It'll just be a streaming software, like a live stream software that they'll move to.
I agree with Matt. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't see that happening anytime soon. I will say that you probably could manage that, but you would still require some form of physical hardware in the home. I don't see you ever having let's say they ship you for lack of argument, they ship you a Steam controller that's Wi-Fi, and you just hook it up to your TV by Wi-Fi, and your TV downloads a game and you play it with no console, with no physical hardware. I don't see that happening for a long time, because there is a feature like that right now where you can play PC games over the internet, and all of the rendering and the PC and the game processing is done in the cloud, but the lag on that system right now is still significant enough to where it's basically like, if you want to play a game for fun or play it for a story or something like that, you could probably suffer through the input lag. But if you were trying to play something like PUBG or Fortnite or Rocket League or something that's competitive, and you wanted to be competitive in it, there's absolutely no way you could do it. Because the input lag would just destroy you.
It was more along the lines of companies getting to the point where they're so greedy that they just want you to start paying subscription services for everything. So in order to use their software or to have access to these games, it would become a subscription service. Everything would be some form of subscription service.
I could see something similar to that, where maybe like it, similar to this Xbox thing y'all were just talking about, where you do buy a console, but now you no longer have to pay $60 or $70 for every single game. You pay like $10 or $15 a month for a Netflix style. I want this game, I'll download it to my console, play it, and then when I'm done with it, I can uninstall it or whatever and get another game. Or maybe you can have, like, there's a lease of, like, you can have up to like 6 titles downloaded at a time, because many people, you're going to switch back and forth between multiple games. But
yeah,
I definitely see that, but you would still physically need some kind of processing power in the home.
Right.
Daniel did make a good point that phones are getting to where they can run. I mean, not current generation phones, but in the
getting
future
close.
we're probably gonna.
Yeah.
And I honestly,
I could like they have PCs now that are like this big and that tall that can run modern games at like 60 FPS on high settings, and it's like, okay, so I mean, we're getting really small. It's just, I don't think we're quite to the point where we could stream it all, you know?
Yeah, well, that's not in the U.S. or many other countries because our infrastructure sucks.
Yeah.
And there's no way ISPs are gonna be like, no, you got to pay us more money for that shit.
Yep.
My twist on Cody's Doomsday Prophecy was, imagine if you have like Steam and you buy games through Steam, just like that. More or less Steam going, okay, well now we're charging you $5 a month to use Steam now. And then you get all these other games you can buy for, $6, $12, $15. It becomes that kind of front end. And then you lose all the consoles that you have in your home and stuff like your phone or your TV itself, if it has computer power embedded upon it, becomes your console more or less. So that was kind of my twist on things, where you end up going to be paying the right to buy a game that you're not going to own. And I could see it happening just because people and companies
Isn't
are
that what
greedy.
Steam already does, just without the monthly fee?
Yeah, pretty much.
More or less. If Steam started,
if Steam ever goes down, my computer's just gonna be like, I don't have anything to do here. I've lost all my games.
Yeah.
300 games.
If Steam ever starts charging, like, we're going to charge $5 a month because we really need to charge $5 a month for operating costs for some reason. Well, one, the whole internet would be in an uproar, but two, there's people out there that's going to start paying $5 a month.
Well, here, what Steam does is, I think that Steam charges 30% of to sell on
Right.
Steam. So I think if they change to where instead of the publishers paying that cost to where we pay that cost, then I think they'll have a fucking riot on their hands.
It'll happen eventually. There's going to be somebody
People
out there
to Galaxy of Games or other third party
I would
services
go to
that don't
Origin.
do that.
I would go to Origin before paying Steam.
The problem is,
Wow.
the problem is when a market leader makes a decision and goes a direction, typically the market will follow that leader.
Unless the customers don't follow. Because, I mean,
You're going to
right
have people
now,
follow. You'll have
what you're
people
saying,
follow.
You will have people follow, but will the whole market follow? Because right now you have Steam. Stop, buddy. You have Steam where they're. He keeps licking my hands.
Getting some of that human flesh.
You have Steam at
Let me wear your coat.
or Steam is like the market leader, but now you have Twitch and you have Discord getting into the same market right now.
Yeah.
So if Steam were to make this big change, now we have, albeit not so great, but still players in that competition in that field, so to speak.
Right,
I mean,
but
they're not on the same level, obviously, but
I can.
still.
But the thing is, though, is it does happen. Trust me.
Oh yeah,
In this
I'm sure it will
situation.
happen. Stop looking at me.
I've literally watched this happen when I worked in the cell phone industry, because Verizon led the industry in cell phones for a very long time. And when they make a direction and make a change, you would suddenly see T-Mobile, AT&T, who else was it back then? Sprint. They'd all change and go. When everybody started dropping unlimited internet on their phone, guess what? Everybody else started dropping it.
Yeah.
Of course, now it's back because everybody complained enough. And then you pay for it. It's still about the same cost as it was in the past, and they also throttle you, which is worse. But one of those companies made a decision, then you start to see everybody else start to fall in line. And now everybody's got unlimited. It'll happen eventually. And what they'll do is they'll offset those costs for you pay $5 to access our library, but guess what? We have such and such that's shiny and pretty, and that'll be the draw for people, and it may not cost them a thing to do.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't happen, but back onto the Xbox, what Xbox is offering right now is an incredible deal, and I think they're doing this to try and at least catch up with Sony, and this is probably a good way to do it.
I would do it if I played console anymore. But I don't.
I play a lot of consoles. I can't. In fact, I'm still waiting for September 7th so I can get my Spider-Man console.
Yeah.
I am so ready for that.
Pass.
What?
I wouldn't do it even if I still played console.
Matt is such a huge Spider-Man fan.
Anti. There are very few.
So much.
There are very few.
Dresses up for
superheroes-
Halloween.
There are very few superheroes that I hate more than Spider-Man.
Oh man, we're like oil and water when it comes to this topic. I love Spider-Man.
Oh, I cannot stand the guy.
You guys are Matt's like Spider-Man and you're like the Green Goblin, Daniel.
Spider-Man, I've come to throw PlayStation 4s at you. I'm just excited about the web swinging in this game. This is supposed to be some of the best that has been out since Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I love web swinging.
Nothing like ejaculating from your hands.
What are you doing in there? Nothing, Mom!
Oh, come in.
Slinging webs!
Is that what the kids are calling these days?
I got web juice all over my bed!
You better stop that. You're going to go blind.
Way to go, DJ.
Thanks. I got your intro for you.
All right. Yeah, no about that. Moving on from Xbox and their wonderful $20 a month program for getting an Xbox One S is I saw Ars Technica article the other day. There is an emulator out there for NES games. It's called Wide NES, it's an add-on to an emulator out there. It's called Wide NES. What this does is it maps out where, say, like if you're playing Metroid, okay, and you go through a door. Well, it maps out where you've been through that door and remembers how that map outlay looks. And then suddenly when you have like a widescreen, instead of that 4:3, the whole 16:9 shows the map to the sides and what's coming up in front of you and where you had been. So you can literally walk up to a door and see what's on the other side of the door. The only thing is you have to play the game for it to memorize what the map looks like. And once the information's all been loaded, then it'll actually kind of give you that widescreen formatting on it. I thought it was really interesting when I was watching a video on it. They had Super Mario Brothers 3 where Mario was running. Pardon me. He jumped and flew up into the air, and you just see like a swath of like the 4:3 screen just going up and a little jagged, almost a little jaggedy into the blackness of the screen where it was trying to keep track where everything was on the map. And just being able to see what's ahead of it, I thought it was like neat.
That is cool.
It seems like a cool idea, but it might get confusing when you know for a fact the game obviously can't, or the emulator can't predict what's going to be over there as far as enemies are concerned.
That is
so as you're coming back into this area that's previously been mapped out, now all of a sudden these enemies just start popping into existence as you're coming through.
Yeah.
Unless they're already like these enemies are always start in this location and move in. Well, I guess they wouldn't load in actually. I don't know how fucking old games work. I'm filling in time. I'm sorry. I'm talking out of my ass. Gotta do that list.
You got to get something to fill that hole.
Yeah. My hole needs to be enlarged.
I don't know if it gets any bigger, more stuff's just gonna come out of it.
You just gotta keep putting stuff in there. Oh yeah, you know what? They actually put a catapult. You get a catapult in your hole in Donut County too, and you can shoot stuff out of your hole. Just so you know.
Wait.
My hole doesn't need a catapult to shoot stuff out of it.
Wait. If your whole goal is to put stuff in your hole, why are you thrusting stuff out of your hole?
So you shoot stuff out to grab onto stuff and pull it down into your hole.
What about that bird? How are you going to get that bird down your hole? You got to knock it out of the sky.
Exactly. You got to shoot a rocket at it or get a frog to jump up and grab that bird and pull it down.
Tentacles.
That's the two options.
Hey, you know, hold on. You said tentacles? Snakes. Little snake, its tail sticking out of the hole going, there's your tentacle.
I know where this is going.
You should just get the frog to shoot its tongue out. Call that a rim job.
Oh, wow.
This is a good time for Matt's first time on a podcast.
He's loving it.
Welcome to the BitCast.
He's starting to look more red than Spider-Man.
Oh, so that's wide NES. I saw it just earlier this week, and I thought, that'd actually be a really cool thing to just expand the screen out and be able to peek in front and behind the doors. So I thought that was a neat thing that someone was doing. Moving on, there is rumors for new Smash Brothers Ultimate characters. Apparently some renders had kind of leaked out that were...
Waluigi?
No Waluigi. Waluigi is never going to make it. I
have a sneaking suspicion he'll be like a hidden boss or something.
That would be amazing.
It's just...
Mr. Master Hand is Waluigi. That's what it is. It's his hand going,
It'll just come out and you see his face.
That would be great.
That'd be awesome.
So what are the possible leaked characters?
The list is right now Gleek Club Chorus Kids from Rhythm Heaven, Isaac from Golden Sun, Ken Masters from Street Fighter, Isabelle from Animal Crossing.
Is he gonna be a fighter?
Apparently so. That's
Isabelle from Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Where's Tom Nook?
No Tom Nook, man.
Tom
Nook pays people to go and fight for him. Tom Nook's a baller. Shadow
was a mayor's assistant.
Shadow.
They should set up. Sorry, they should set up all the Animal Crossing characters, kind of like the Pokemon trainer, where the trainer comes in and it's just Tom Nook telling everyone to go fight.
Oh, they've got Shadow the Hedgehog, which I'm assuming is going to be an Echo Fighter for Sonic.
In a wheelchair?
What?
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Wow. That is a
Shadow is
call
that.
out.
That is for one specific person only. Love you, buddy.
He's just gonna be like, "Hey, come on now."
There is Skull Kid from Majora's Mask.
That's cool.
Okay.
They have a mystery fighter that they can't really tell. That it could be either Agnes from Bravely Default or Yurikozu Kata from Fatal Frame. It's a little difficult for them to find out at this point in time. Dixie Kong is a potential. And finally, Banjo-Kazooie could be a
Neat.
character for the upcoming Ultimate.
Interesting.
So that is the rumor mill right now for some characters that we could see. I am excited about none of them. Well, okay, I'll take that back. Maybe Banjo-Kazooie. But I really want to see Master Chief. I want to see Master Chief stuck in there.
That's never gonna happen.
Never
I
say
don't know,
never.
man.
I mean, they got Solid Snake.
Yeah, but that's Sony,
They got Banjo Kazooie. That's Microsoft.
is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Rare
Microsoft
is-
owns Rare, which
Yep.
made Banjo Kazooie.
And Microsoft would be dumb to not jump on the bandwagon for Nintendo and start to get a foothold on the Switch.
Yeah, I mean they've already played Buddy Buddy with back at E3 and
Yeah,
shitting on Sony.
yeah, which were great ads, by the way. Those were
Yeah.
wonderful. I loved every minute of that.
I guess his ultimate smash could be like calling in a warthog or something.
Oh man, that would be wonderful. Here
Or
comes
the
the
drive
through the
Warthog. Have a scorpion floating in the
fires from off screen.
yeah, or scorpion
Or
floating in the
Scorpion,
background,
that's
like
what
blowing up the whole stage. That would be amazing.
Just flying around on a banshee, shooting at everybody. Get the fuck down here!
Quit cheating!
All of a sudden, a ghost just flies out of nowhere. He hops on it, runs someone over, and then jumps off.
Yeah, like Captain Falcon.
Yeah. Maybe he'll be an Echo Fighter.
Master Chief is an Echo Fighter of Captain Falcon.
Sure.
What are Echo Fighters? Because I keep hearing that, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, an Echo Fighter is like they have a character that's set in the game right now, like Link, and then they may have like Dark Link, or
It's just basically a reskin.
it's kind of a reskin, but they have different attack elements. Like you have Mario and then Dr. Mario. When Dr. Mario throws pills, while Mario throws
Okay.
fireballs.
So it's like a different wireframe character on the same moveset.
Yeah,
So like right now you have like Captain Falcon and Ganondorf have very similar movesets, don't they?
Actually, yeah, I think they do.
yes, they're both heavy.
Yeah, but they have really similar attacks.
Yeah.
I think it's Ganondorf and Captain Falcon. It's Ganondorf and somebody have almost identical movesets. And so it's the same character. It's just you have a completely different wireframe, and the movesets have been slightly tweaked, but
Right.
it's basically the same character.
Yeah. That's why you
Gotcha.
like Peach and Daisy, or Daisy's an Echo Fighter of Peach.
Yeah.
It's same flavor, different coating, more or less.
Gotcha.
Moving on from that, this one, well, since you don't like Spider-Man, Matt, this is Spider-Man PS4.
Tune out for a minute.
Spider-Man PS4 devs are responding to downgrade concerns. Apparently, people have been. This has been the ever fantastic puddle incident that you seen on social media and Reddit and such, where people were complaining about in old renders of the game from 2017 when they were showing it off. There were very large puddles in different action sequences, and as they get closer to release time, those puddles have shrunk down to really tiny. So everybody is freaking out, saying, "Oh my gosh, they're cutting down on the graphics on the game, so it'll actually reach performance levels that are acceptable to go gold with." And Insomniac has been reaching out and saying, no, this isn't a performance issue, that we just it's more of a design and art decision for removing the puddles. Honestly, from a design and art aspect, if they're going from that way, I would actually like to have seen more puddles in the little sections of the fight that they were talking about, just because you don't see kind of like elements like that a lot in games. Everything always seems to be dry.
It's probably an optimization thing. I mean, fuck them for trying to optimize their game, Annie.
Well, I mean, yeah, honestly, it probably is. It's probably a fact that they were having some drag in certain areas, so they removed some of those environmental effects that were causing having to render two versions of Spider-Man on the screen at the same time. Neither here nor there.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, does this have something to do with like reducing the amount of reflections and stuff?
Probably. More than likely, and fans are all pissed off about it because they want those puddles, and they don't want the game to get nerfed in graphics and everybody. Go ahead.
I saw an article about it, and I didn't see about the puddles thing, but just like comparing side by sides from the 2017 trailer to the newer one. And a lot of it, it doesn't look so much like a graphical downgrade as it does look like lighting changes.
Yes.
Like in a lot of the pictures, like it looks different because they've changed the way the lighting works, or that's definitely from an art perspective, definitely.
They have said that in some of the. I was reading some of the response from Insomniac Games on this, and they're talking about with the way some of the lighting was working and it was reflecting off the concrete in the game, it was causing an issue with how Spider-Man's costume was actually the reflections on it were used, I guess, like the bump mapping and stuff like that. It was causing some kind of a blur or a really blinding reflection. So they kind of had to dull his costume down a little bit and make it a little bit more matte.
Oh, yeah.
So
I heard butt mapping.
Butt mapping?
I was like, that.
Butt map.
I was like, that fits for a tight suit.
Gotta butt map your hole.
Spider-Man
will swing right out of there.
You can't keep Spider-Man in a hole.
Spider-Man's web closes all holes.
All right.
You see, he's trying to get out of there.
Oh, see, now I go too far.
Well, no, I just don't want us going too long because I know we have a lot of news.
All right, so
have a lot of news.
Well, I'm almost. I'm almost done now. I've got one more article, but that was the outcry that's going on right now. It never ceases to amaze. There's always an outcry on a video game if they make a slight adjustment, because God forbid that a company actually makes an adjustment to a game so it runs better for people.
I want my game to run shitty. Just make it run shitty and look pretty.
Tell you what, if you want a pretty game, Red Dead Redemption 2. There it is.
The trailer looks real good.
Cannot wait. All right, and here's something big that people are going to be they're all up ons about right now. CD Projekt Red. And
I was going to talk about that.
Oh, you were going to talk about this? All right. Well,
go ahead.
In Cyberpunk 2077's first-person perspective, and they know all about everybody's complaints about this, and they don't give a rat's ass. So
the game looks fucking amazing.
The game is unbelievably beautiful. I mean, if it were anything that was going to rival Rockstar in their GTA or not GTA, Red Dead Redemption 2 world, it's CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk 2077. I am stoked about this game, but I was super surprised that this is going to be first person.
That's not really a big thing. Maybe people are like used to The Witcher. The Witcher is third person. And maybe that's just what they were expecting.
Yeah.
But, I'm totally fine with first person.
Well, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, same. And just watching, because they did the was it 48 minutes of gameplay, which was, I watched a little bit of that, and damn, fuck yeah. It looks so good.
I haven't
I've-
watched it
I've-
yet.
I've completely avoided that. I want to watch I watched the HD trailer thing that they came out with. It was like what 2 minutes or whatever. But
Yeah.
the 48 minutes of gameplay, I'm avoiding that like the plague
I didn't
because
mean.
I don't want to see any of it.
Yeah,
I want to be
didn't mean-
so shocked.
I didn't mean to watch it, but a streamer that I was watching, like I was playing Monster Hunter and they were doing their thing, and I look over and I was like, "The hell is he watching another stream?" And it was the Cyberpunk, and I was like, "Well, fuck, now I know this part." But just what I saw, like the combat looks really good, the dialogue options look really good. All your special, like you spec into different like job, like engineering or stuff like that. That looks really cool. Just, I mean, like I didn't see great detail, but just stuff they mentioned, like, you know, you can do this or you can go, like you're in a scenario and there's multiple options. There's a lot of dialogue options to get out of stuff. You can take the violent route. You can engineer your way out of a problem. It's a really, really cool looking game, and I'm super stoked for it. Also, first person is fine with me.
There's nothing wrong with first person. I had watched. I haven't watched the 48-minute demo that they put out, but I did watch a small video section of some of the animation that they had done, where they were showing almost like it was in-engine cutscenes, where they were showing the fluidity of the animation of one of the characters like scooting out of bed and actually putting their foot on the floor.
Yeah.
Man, was that
realistic.
amazing!
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one where the chick's naked, isn't it?
No.
Yeah. Oh, I saw one. Like you don't see anything. She's just getting out of bed. And you're like,
She's
"Damn,
wearing
that's
some.
realistic."
She's wearing some like
she had
like
some
nightwear.
clothes,
Yeah.
yeah.
There was some clothing.
Yeah.
She wasn't completely naked.
I remember side boob. and
DJ's
my
like,
mind-
it's
my
naked. It's
brain is like-
naked.
Like I'm a big fan of side boob. What do you want?
But that game looks amazing, and
I'm
I can't wait.
I am super ready to have to upgrade my computer to play that.
You want it to look like that 1080 Ti.
Yeah.
You have to buy a 1080 Ti to make it look like you had seen and all that.
Yeah.
I hope my little 1080 will be able to handle it. Of course, then again, you got those new RTX cards, the ray tracing.
Yeah. The 2080's coming out.
I don't want to upgrade again.
You don't have to, but now the 1080 cards are going to get a lot cheaper.
It's true.
It was like, we could finally get back away from the 970s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm gonna do with my 970?
What's that?
What?
Store it for a second computer.
It'd be like Daniel, where you have a closet with some 970s and they're doing nothing.
That's true. I've got a lot of computer components that just sit in the closet right now that are not being used at the moment. Specifically, like a terabyte hard drive. I was going to keep RAM, but I returned the RAM. I've got to buy 64 gigs of RAM and stick it in the system. It desperately needs some help right now. Only have 16.
2 computers.
Oh yeah, I've got. Oh yeah. Well, I operate off of 2 computers when doing this setup now.
Yeah.
He records on one and talks on the other.
I play games off of one and record on another. That's how it's supposed to work. That way I really reduce the load and spread it across the system.
Big load. You gotta really get it out there.
I don't know. I mean, like the huge load of playing of, what was that game? I can't remember.
The whole game.
I can't remember. I can't remember the game that we played.
To fill that hole.
I can't.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Towerfall.
Making webs all over the hole.
Towerfall.
Oh yeah,
Towerfall. Oh my god, I love playing Towerfall.
Game.
That game is the best. Look
You do
for it
not
soon.
Need a good computer for that.
No, you
Probably
don't.
run that on a phone.
It's true. But look forward to that on the arena coming next
so many
month.
fucking weeks away.
I know that's next month.
I think it's like 2 months away.
We recorded a lot of content. Hey, speaking of content, we've got just before we move on and for the next person's articles, we have tomorrow Injustice 2 coming out.
Oh yeah.
The second part where I challenge Curtis in Injustice 2.
I want everyone to know that Mike told Axel to watch this, and then Axel told me he's disappointed in me losing. He's like, "Do you need to practice?" I was like, "You weren't supposed to watch that." I was like, "Don't watch Blaze Blue."
Yeah, well, nobody knows what's going to happen with Blaze Blue. That's months away as well. Everybody will forget by then. Yeah, it's
I know what happens.
yeah. Cody knows what happens. I showed Cody.
You showed Cody.
I showed Cody.
Private screening.
Oh my god!
I showed him the raw files. I was like, "You've got to see this. Look at this right here."
I was so smug. I was like, look at these guys going. If you go back and you watch the first video where of Driver, and Daniel was so smug because he was like, he knew he was gonna kick ass in the survival thing.
Yeah, I was like,
that's absolute shit. That was me in Blaze Blue. I'm like so smug. I'm like, I'm gonna beat ass when we get there, and I get in there, and I do. The first round, I beat ass. I'm spoiling, but boy, it had a lot of drama.
oh, it was beautiful. But Injustice 2 comes out tomorrow. I challenge Curtis. Do I beat Curtis in Injustice 2 or not? Find out. It'll be interesting. I'm the guy that sucks at fighting games, so
Yes.
I do not do well at fighting games. So
Have you played against me?
So there's that little interjection for the arena. I love that series so much now. Anybody else got any news?
I have a news article.
What is your news article?
Well, really, I would have had nothing, but Michael posted this, and he knows I'm going to buy it. But Dust is going to limited release on the Switch.
Woo!
And if you don't know what it is, it's a game from Xbox 360. It's old as shit. I don't know how it still exists, but it survives, and it's a really good game. If you like platforming, like jumpy, slashy, flashy, not fighting, but story side scroller game. That's what it is. It has a really, really good story. The art's really nice. It's made by one dude. I mean, there might have been some other people, but it's mostly by one dude. And it's a really good game. I own like 4 copies of it. Don't ask me why. I don't know.
Just that good.
Why do you have 4 copies of it?
Okay. Since you ask, I bought it on Xbox 360 when it came out. Actually, a really long time after it came out. And then I got it on Steam. And then I think I have it on Twitch when Twitch was giving away games. And I also have it from IndieBox. So yeah, I have at least 3 copies of that game. I don't know why. And I will soon have that's going to be the only physical game I've bought for the Switch.
Just because it's a limited production run.
Yes, and because I'm a whore, and I will buy anything that says limited edition. Can't help it.
What if I label my heart as limited edition?
Does it come with extras?
Comes with my love and the ability for you to buy me things.
That seems like an investment. I'm not good with money.
Tell you what, as soon as you said that, all I could think of was that NSYNC song "Tearing Up My Heart." It's like, why is that coming to mind?
No, you don't have to buy me anything, Lucid. I'll love you forever.
I've bought you lots of stuff.
Yeah, and you don't have to, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're a cool dude, and I bought you stuff too. I bought you stuff too.
You did. You bought me the thingy.
I did.
That's hot.
I think I bought you games too.
I think so. Oh yeah, at least one. Cool. That's all I've got for news.
Okay.
I was going to talk about Cyberpunk, but really that's it. Also, something I wanted to mention last week. Diva finally got her cinematic short for Overwatch.
There was some sort of uproar about that for some reason.
No, fucking Tumblr was like, look at her love life, and she's because she's got her friend that like works with her in her mech shop, and she didn't have sex with him, so he was friend zoned, and that's what happened.
Oh,
Sounds
okay,
about
Yeah.
right.
okay.
She's just like we're best friends, and everyone was like, ha. Pretty much.
Couldn't have just been a coworker.
Yeah, they can't just you can't
Be.
be male and female and be friends. That's impossible. You got friend zoned. That's so dumb.
Instantly. That's it.
Yeah. But,
It was a good
yeah,
cinematic. I liked it.
it was really good. I really liked it.
I haven't watched it.
You should. It's good. It's long too. I think it's like 7 or 8 minutes.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
It's
Yeah.
one of the longer ones.
Yeah. And yeah, man, I really like it. Even though I don't play Overwatch anymore, Diva's still my favorite character.
Did you uninstall it?
No, I didn't uninstall it.
You're still playing it. You're
Well,
still playing
That's
it.
not true. I did uninstall it, and then I reinstalled it.
I know.
Diva got
I was.
Black Cat skin.
Well, that's why I was asking if you uninstalled it again. If you haven't uninstalled it, you're still playing it.
I'm not playing it. It's just sometimes I boot it up and shoot some dudes, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I hate this game, and then I stop playing.
Oh. All right.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Cody, do you have any news for the week?
Nah, man. Nothing really. Just that I can't find any paper miniatures online that actually have like monsters to fight. They're all just people, townsfolk.
Fight townsfolk. You can be like what I used when I ran my first game. I called him a knight, or not a knight, a warrior, but he was a gravedigger. He had a shovel. he had a shovel sword.
So he was Shovel Knight.
He was Shovel
It's
Knight.
Dampy from,
Yeah.
Dampy from Ocarina of Time.
It was literally what I did when I ran when TJ did Pathfinder's introduction to their gaming, because I had bought D&D with the Lost Mine of Phandelver, and he did I forgot what they called Pathfinders was called. It was just like Pathfinder box
Starter edition.
starter edition. It was just very uncreative. I was like, okay, got
I
it.
had fun.
It was fun.
He's mad because he couldn't be cheeky with that dragon.
Hey, I was doing all right, and then you were like, all right, well, now the dragon's going to come in here and break through this wall. And I'm like, well, man.
No, I fired a fireball through the doorway.
I had three-quarters cover.
This is bullshit. I was like, you can't just fucking fire from across the dungeon.
It worked.
Upsetting the dragon.
It worked. Hey,
Till you die.
I was firing at disadvantage, but I still hit. So it was working.
So he put a fireball in your hole.
Yeah. And it burned.
Spicy.
It's like eating Taco Bell.
It was a good time.
Oh.
I really enjoyed it. I love doing just like tabletop shit. It's a good time.
It is. It is the best.
PAX South 2019.
Oh yeah,
So close now. I am
We have so many people
excited.
going.
it's gonna be the biggest campaign ever.
It's gonna be the biggest podcast ever. How are we gonna do that?
I will figure it out.
Probably 2 or 3 cameras. We'll just do like group shots.
You know what? I got the PTZ optics. If I can do some face tracking, I can actually move it back and forth.
Yeah.
So I'll work on it. I've got cameras to boot, and I've got a 18 in and out mixer, so I'll make it happen.
Crazy. I'm so excited. I can't wait for PAX South, man. Like, I have a feeling that we're gonna go to like maybe Saturday or maybe Friday night or some of Saturday, and then just like hang out at the Airbnb like the rest of Saturday and Sunday.
I've got to hit up. TJ and I've got to hit up a whole lot of this stuff because we got to hand out a lot of business cards. We got to grow this
Speaking of-
I'll
sucker.
help out.
Cappy made Matt some really nice cards.
What?
That's got cards? God.
He's a
Like-
dog butt enthusiast.
Do I still have that picture?
You should. It's in the where we were chatting to each other.
Hold on, there it is.
Is she though?
She do.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Another friend of mine that I became more acquainted with at Axel's birthday party was like, "Hey man, remind me in like a week when I'm home and get settled in to talk to you about graphic art and designs for an icon or a logo or something." And so thank you for bringing that up because I just remembered to message him so that way I could see about getting business cards before PAX.
There you go.
Because I've got to get a logo and something that suits me for a business card.
I've got to get some sort of T-shirts made before PAX. That will be a goal to have done at some point, just so we can have our logo repping it there.
Get us like nice polos or nice like button-up shirts or
Something like that. Something. Just I want to look professional, and as I try to sell this as a legitimate business.
Absolutely, and I'm right there with you. Like I said, give me business cards. I will go talk with people. I will look at games.
It's been great. I mean, the Moan and Throne guys literally have been wonderful with us, and they're at PAX West. Yeah, lit. As lit. They're at PAX West right now. They announced 1v1 mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember we had a podcast a while back where I said I overheard something and I wasn't allowed? I was like, I don't know if I should be able to talk about that because I was at their launch party. It was the 1v1 mode.
Yeah.
I was like, I forgot about that.
They had mentioned it in their Discord. They have a beta section for people who are in the beta, and they were talking about. They were throwing out the idea of 1v1, and I know me and another dude, pretty much the two vocal people in the Discord.
Yeah.
Were like, yes, 1v1, please give us 1v1.
We may have to have arena 1v1.
Yeah, so they've got that out, and also the game is on sale right now, 25% off.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Up till September 10th, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really fun game if you like playing with friends, like local friends, and internet friends if you use Periscope or what the fuck is it?
Parsec.
Parsec. Yeah.
Who has a powerful laptop?
I do.
I do.
Does.
That's right. Yours can run VR. Do either of you have a Steam Link?
Nope.
No, but as soon as they go on sale for $5 again, I'll probably buy one.
I was just thinking if you don't happen to get one by then and you would need me to, I could see about bringing my Steam Link to PAX. We would just need some controllers and we could probably hook up some party games that we could play while hanging out. So people want to play video games we can play board games.
Oh my god.
And as long as we have a powerful laptop that can connect to the Steam Link, you'll be good to go.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Oh TJ, man.
We've
got the laptops.
Out of our asshole.
Not only that is I've got the Xbox. I've bought the Xbox One adapter, the wireless adapter.
Yeah.
So I can bring 4 controllers and that wireless adapter for a computer, and then we can go to town.
I want to get one just for my computer, just so I don't have to plug in my controller.
You just need to get a wireless controller.
That's the. I mean, if you have an Xbox or a PlayStation, you have a wireless controller.
Mm-hmm.
I have a wired. Oh, it works for just the straight up wireless ones. Okay, maybe I just need to buy that then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, that's what we were doing when you were down. You had it when Cody was down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just regular Xbox controllers.
Saves.
I realized today that if I wanted, I could lay in bed and play Monster Hunter on my laptop because my PC's here and it would stream from my PC to my laptop, and then I'd be able to just.
Luxury of life. Alrighty, Matt, I know we kind of threw you in here, threw this at you at the last second today. Is there anything that you saw throughout the week that's in the news that you happen to want to talk about? If not, it's just fine.
Are you excited for anything?
Yeah.
Other than things that have already been mentioned, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Like the Cyberpunk 2077 looks really good, but
yeah.
Can't wait. Okay. Well, I guess
I'm
that's
stoked.
gonna do it for the news this week.
Wait.
Wait, what? Is there no?
I
You
said
got
great,
more?
not wait.
Oh, I thought you said wait.
No, great.
I was like, wait, what? I was like, okay. I was like, hold on. Let me let everybody take their headphones off right quick.
That's when we get back to PAX and we go, wait.
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 Good inside jokes.
Alrighty then. Now,
I hate that everyone's gonna think that is an inside joke from Critical Role.
What is that in Critical Role too?
So one night, apparently, Marisha and Matt and a bunch of the others were all at one of those crosswalks, and they just kept pressing the button, and they recorded it and put it up on Twitter. Like, I don't know, a couple months after we went to PAX South.
Oh, those fucking dicks.
And so now all the time they'll say wait, and everyone just goes wait. I'm like, that's us.
That's messed up, man.
So now I know people are gonna call us out on that. It's like, but no, we did that. That was us.
We did it first.
We were not savvy on the internet first. we missed out. But go ahead, Daniel. Matt, you might want to.
If you have seen this podcast before and you happen to know what comes next after the news articles have all been read, it is one of my favorite segments of the show. It is time for email. That's right. If you have an email that you want read on the VGBit BitCast, you can send your emails to bitcast@vgbits.com. That's bitcast@vgbits.com. We will read them. Gentlemen, we have an email this week.
Oh, good.
Coming from our good friend Mike with the subject line email.
Email.
With
wow.
parenthesis email. His question.
I was about to say how proud I was of Mike. And then that.
His subject is, or his the body of the email says, so for this week, my question for you guys is, what are your thoughts on the argument about video games being too expensive, according to most consumers, versus them being cheaper than they should be, according to developers? Here we go, guys.
I believe we've talked about this before. Where
We have touched on this before in the past. Let's see if we happen to have any change of opinion over time.
I am still the fence that they're cheaper than they've ever been, and I honestly wouldn't mind if they went up to like 70. I wouldn't mind paying $75 for like Cyberpunk or Red Dead Redemption or any of these like super high grade, obviously very, very high production value games.
Okay.
I
tend to agree with that. I think the price of games tends to self-stabilize itself. Like if a title comes out that the developer or publisher or whatever has dictated, they're like, hey, I think my game's worth $70. And within 3 months it's down to like 40.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious that it was not actually worth $70 because they had the initial rush of people buying the game that either had looked it up or they're dedicated fans or whatever, and they all spread on the internet, wow, this game sucks. Or this game has problems that or it's missing things that the company sold it as, and nobody buys the game for a couple of months and the developer has to drop the price drastically. So usually what I tell people in a situation like that, like when people come by my stream and they're like, hey, I really like this new game you're playing, should I buy it? And I'm like, if you're a hardcore fan, get it now. If not, wait 3 months and see what the price does.
Yeah. Because
it really doesn't take that long. Usually 3 to 4 months and the price will drop.
Yeah. I've seen, like, even within the first month, I can't name a game specifically, but I remember it came out, it just did shit, and then immediately the price dropped to like half. I feel like you know what game I'm talking about.
No Man's Sky.
Oh yeah, that is one of them. Yeah, that price tanked real fast on that.
That's what I was thinking of when I mentioned that they advertised their game to have features that were not actually in the game. I was thinking of No Man's Sky.
Yeah, and what did it take a year for No Man's Sky to even achieve what it promised?
Yep,
I feel like
Hardly.
it's yeah. Which great game by the way.
it's fun.
Loved it now. Yeah. Don't play it anymore.
Yeah, neither do I. It's the money thing, man.
I got my 60 hour. Yeah. I really enjoyed it, but it felt super grindy.
Yeah.
I know we're getting off topic. But yeah, I agree. The market will correct if you think your game is. I mean, look at Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 is still $60.
Not right now. It's actually $17.
It's on sale, yeah.
Rockstar's
Walmart,
got
at Walmart.
well, Rockstar's got a 70% off on their library on Steam right now. You can get it for $17.
Nice.
What?
Okay,
Nice.
but what is the standard price of GTA 5?
It's
60.
still $50 or $60, yeah.
And well, is that GTA 5 whatever they call it, Ultimate Box, where it comes with all the additional stuff that's come out since?
All
All DLC is free, yeah.
Oh, all DLC is free.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
didn't they originally charge for it?
Looks like it's dropped in price to $30.
Is it 30 now?
Premium Online Edition is 50, and that comes with some of the.
It gives you
pack,
money
yeah.
and
Yeah.
such.
Oh, okay. But the base game is just the base game with all the DLC is $30 now.
Yeah, it's $29.99 on Steam.
That's a pretty recent drop then, because I want to say like not too long
Yeah.
ago it was still $60.
Yep.
Yeah,
But I mean,
I
yeah,
agree with you.
I do agree as well. There have been some titles that have come out that have just sold so well that the publisher's like, well, shoot, why do I need to drop the price?
Yeah.
I don't need to, and people are happy to pay it.
Yeah.
Any Nintendo game ever.
Pretty much,
Basically.
yeah. Yeah.
That game, you will never see a discount price on a Nintendo game. Ever.
Yeah.
Mainly because, I have to say, Nintendo makes solid games. I have not found a Nintendo game that's just been utter crap. I mean, I've found games that I don't like playing, but
Yeah.
for it being crap, where it be buggy or bad storytelling or anything of that nature, not with Nintendo.
Yeah. First party, mind you, not.
Right, first party.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just to save this that comment.
Right.
What about all these shit games on the Switch? Which, my God, the store on Switch right now is just a fucking chaos. It looks like Google Play. It's terrible.
Well, everybody wants their game
ouch.
on the Switch right now.
I know, but
It's such a
some
hot
of these
console.
games, some of these games, we gotta. There needs to be some sort of like be like, just no, this game is terrible. Please don't put that on Steam. That doesn't belong here.
Your moto
Steam
racing
don't
game.
care. Did you say photo racing?
Moto racing.
Well, that
Like
game's not bad. It's just bad on the Switch.
Exactly.
It doesn't belong on the Switch.
That's the conversation we're having.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, just like bad games, like
Oh, bad games in
Mom hit
general.
my game.
Oh
Right.
gosh.
Yeah. You know, just bad games, not just poorly ported games.
Yeah, like some of the games on Steam that are just there for achievements or there for
They're there to make quick dollar.
something that someone's like, well, this is cheap enough that I might enjoy it, and then they buy it and they're like, yeah, this was garbage.
I regret this.
Yeah. Like I did that with Raft. I bought Raft for $20, played it for about 2 hours, and thought this game really sucks.
Yeah.
Like it's just so light, so empty, so repetitive. I was just like, I don't want it. I don't want it when it comes to full release either.
Yeah.
Not my type
I think
of game.
I think that's actually full release now. I want to say I've seen ads for that.
Probably take a look at that.
Sounds familiar.
As for me, when it comes to still early access. As for me, when it comes to games, I think most games are probably good at, the $60 price, because I know games used to be a lot more expensive when gaming consoles and systems, originally came out back in the I guess 80s, 90s, around there.
Oh yeah.
And I'm happy that they're down to a more consumer grade price. Like when you buy a game that's $60, you should at least be getting, hopefully, 30 hours out of the game. As for games being more expensive, I think it would really depend on the game. Like Grand Theft Auto, if it were like a brand new release and coming out with all the stuff, I could understand that being, $70, $80, something like that. And a lot of people would probably buy it. I probably wouldn't, just because it's not my type of game right off the bat. Red Dead Redemption, I could probably see dropping $80 on that off the start. Or Cyberpunk, or like the new Elder Scrolls games, like games that I've played others in the past, and I know that they're going to be good. I know that they're going to be chock full of content and fun. Heck, probably even Dark Souls. I mean, if I wanted to, I would probably drop $80 on a new Dark Souls game, something like that, just because I enjoy the gameplay mechanics and the challenge, and I know I'm going to get at least a solid 40 to 80 hours out of that game.
Right.
And
go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, that's basically how I base whether I purchase a game or not, is if I know I'm going to at least have enough hours in the game and enjoy enough time in the game to justify my purchase.
I think a lot of it, and the last time we talked about this was when loot boxes were a huge issue, and they're not so much now, because the community pretty much put their foot down and said, we don't want this.
They murdered,
and a lot of games like, hey.
They murdered EA.
But I mean, that was a thing too, is like, are we willing to pay more for these games in order to not have to? Because I mean, a lot of these games, some of them are a loss for the publishers. Are we okay with microtransactions versus a higher initial cost? And I mean, that's
one of the things I've harped about, because I'm a real big fan of the Assassin's Creed series, and it was a problem. This is kind of a similar problem to what happened to the Assassin's Creed series there for a while. Is Ubisoft was like, holy cow, we got a big cash cow on our hands. Let's crank out Assassin's Creed games as fast as we can. And they were all selling for top dollar, and they started really, really well. And as they went, you could slowly watch the progression through the games, that the quality started going lower and lower and lower. More bugs came out on release. People started complaining about the story quality, about the bugs in the game. And eventually, it had to eventually get to the point where, like, they released I think it was the Unity, the one in France.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, okay, look, we've had enough of this. This game came out, and there is just so much broken in this game that we're just, and it got to the point where Ubisoft actually had to step back and go, okay, there's enough drop in sales and enough public outcry that there's obviously something that needs to get done here. And of course, they had like one or two games that were already in production that they still finished off, like Syndicate or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they took like a 3-year break before they came out with Origin, and then Origin came out, and it was freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And I think with some of these series some of these companies like EA and Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed, and I'm sure Bethesda's done it with something, is they get really excited about one particular title, like Call of Duty. I know there were problems with Call of Duty with people that loved that kind of game. Is the production value started slipping really hard because they were cranking them out too fast. And I think part of the problem with games coming out at like a $60 price mark and then nobody buying it is because publishers are pushing the developers too hard to get sequels out so fast.
Yeah.
And if they would just go, look, if you guys took 1 year in between every title instead of cranking out a title every single year, then the production quality would stay relatively high, and then every single title you could recoup all your money off of and make a lot of profit, rather than slowly watching your profits dip off to the point where they're in the red, and then you crank out 3 or 4 more games that are just going lower than that.
Yeah.
And then they start, the shareholders start freaking out and all that thing. And that's where you get into the problem with the Star Wars game, where they were like, hey, we can recoup money by putting loot boxes in the game, and then totally shot themselves in the foot with that one.
Yeah.
So part of that's not the only problem, but
Mhm.
in certain situations, that's probably the root cause.
Yeah. And I mean, even if you look at, there's tons of examples where when you push back, like we saw with Breath of the Wild, Red Dead Redemption, all these big games, when they kept pushing them back and everyone got upset, and then they see the final product and you're like, fuck yeah, that was totally worth it. And I mean, even Origins, when they took forever to release that, and then when it finally came out, everyone was like, totally worth that whole, not having Assassin's Creed. And I think a lot of companies forget that you can have these huge releases, and like they don't want to gamble on that big release. They'd rather have that quick dollar. And I mean, it, like you said, it shoots them in the foot. Quality over quantity, really.
It's like with Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
It's another series that I'm horribly obsessed with,
Yeah.
and I shelled out for that game on opening on release day and bought it, and I took a couple of days off of work so that I could play it.
Yeah.
And I look back at it now and I go, it's a good game, but it was not what anyone expected.
Yeah.
And it certainly did not feel like a Mass Effect title. It felt like an interesting science fiction game.
Yeah.
But the writing in it was just not up to snuff. Like some of the situations the characters were put in was like the whole conversation was scripted ahead of time, and you're like, I get no character input. When the first 3 games I was able to make a choice every single sentence.
Yeah.
And now there's like a 10-minute conversation and I'm saying absolutely nothing. And it felt like it was a complete waste. You're like, I don't want my character to say this, but because the game is scripted this way, that's the way we have to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a bit of a letdown.
Fallout 4 suffered that same exact problem.
Did it?
Yeah. Your dialogue options were yes, sarcastic yes, no, in conversation. Only 2 of those options progress the story.
Wow.
I mean, when you go back and you look at even Fallout 3, which is Bethesda, I mean, Obsidian did New Vegas, but your dialogue had a lot to do in that game, and then 4 was just, it felt like they wrote the story and then all you could do was nod along with everyone else talking and ask about your son. I mean, it was a good game. It was fun to play. It's just the story was meh.
So
it was linear as opposed to being open-ended.
Yeah, pretty much.
So to surf,
I don't.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say I felt like there probably wasn't a ton of different endings because with 3 and New Vegas you had different endings depending on what you did, and I felt like there's probably not a lot. I didn't even finish the game. That's how bored I got.
I think if it weren't under the Fallout title of being such an open world, do whatever you want type of game, probably would have been a decent game on its own. But because they made the game open world and do what you want and explore and go on and whatever, and you had that expectation of Fallout 3 or New Vegas, which were very beloved, I think that's one of the reasons why it crashed so hard as well.
I mean, it wasn't a good game, period. I mean, the gameplay itself was good, but the story, I mean, if they would have wrote a different story and still had the same sort of like dialogue style, it still wouldn't have been good. Like, it's just
well, I mean, like, because of the type of game that it was advertised to be is why they had that dialogue style. But I think if it had been more of like a linear game with
cutscenes instead of like dialogue,
right, I think then it might have been a better game than what it actually was.
Well, then there might have been some character in the character instead of just, I'm here for my son. Where's my son? I will find my son. Will you help us? No, Sean. Sean.
Oh, that's right.
No.
Jason,
No. In the early part of Heavy Rain, he was like, Jason. Jason.
Right.
Jason.
Sean. Monkey.
Well, Sean was in the later part of the game where when his son got kidnapped again.
Yeah, if game companies take their time making a game and the end product reflects that, I wouldn't mind paying more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was
agree.
gonna say circle back around on that. I think that's exactly what everybody's saying is, yeah, we'll pay a little bit more for your game as long as you actually do your work that you put into it and not release a broken mess of crap. Then nobody wants to pay for it. Plus, I mean, also, if you look at it with a lot of the independent games that are coming out now, which hit those lower tier price points, there's a price point for almost every gamer out there nowadays.
Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of solid games, like indie games. They're really, really well made.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Rain games, Teslagrad, World to the West, Mesmer, which is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Solid games.
Yeah, it's out there and it's available, and it doesn't have to be a AAA title. Every game doesn't have to be a AAA title.
Right.
I think that's probably some of the misconceptions that maybe some people see nowadays is like every single game that is released has to have that AAA grade all the time, and that's not really necessary.
Yeah, that's one thing you don't really see from companies like EA and Ubisoft is they don't want to produce, games that they can sell for $20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not interested in that. And that's where you don't get a lot of the innovation that comes up, like BioWare back in the day. Everything BioWare did was new and innovative and new.
Yeah.
I said new again. But
so new that it was new.
Yeah, it was new.
New.
But like nobody was doing anything that BioWare was doing when they were just BioWare by themselves, and that's why everyone was buying their $20 and $30 games like crazy.
Yeah.
And then EA bought them, right? Yeah, EA bought them up and was like, okay, crank out more games even faster, and we'll sell them for $60, and everything will be great. And they've suffered long term. I don't want to say they've suffered as bad as a lot of small developers that
They're
get
still
swallowed up
around.
Well, yeah. They're not like Bullfrog or something that got shot in the
Right,
face. But it's the dedicated BioWare fans or the dedicated this dev fan will still buy those titles and with hopes that it's just as good. And you can tell that the quality of their products is still tapering off. It's tapering off slower than some of the other companies because they're at their core, they're these hardcore game lovers that started doing this for the love of the game. But it still hurts, because when BioWare released Mass Effect Andromeda, a lot of the guys that worked at BioWare were like, I don't know what to tell you. We had to outsource a lot of this stuff because we just didn't have the time.
Yeah.
It's all like we had to meet the release date. If we could push it back another year, it would have been great.
Yeah.
I'm just reminded of those plastic animations and Andromeda when they're pouring the water. It's just like, oh, sad.
I mean, a lot of companies could take, hopefully with Ubisoft and all these companies pushing back the release dates, EA will take a look and be like, okay, we can push back, say they finally stop fucking around and give us a single player Star Wars game instead of trashing the one that they were so excited about. I want that back, goddammit.
That looked good too. That's a sad part.
It did. It looked amazing, yeah. But hopefully, especially, just don't rush your games. Don't rush your games. Like, we can wait. There's plenty of games out there. We're still gonna buy your game when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it looks good. If cyberpunk quality. I mean, if Battlefront 2 had been pushed back longer and had more work done on it, I'd have totally been on board with that. Also, without all the loot boxes and shit. But I really love the Battlefront series. It's a really fun game.
Look at Duke Nukem Forever. How long did that take to come out? And it still sold like hotcakes when it released.
Yeah, and it was garbage.
And it was terrible.
Well, I can't say that fairly because I haven't played it. I own it. It's sitting in my Steam library.
Well,
I'm gonna play it one day.
That game changed hands so many times over that 10-year period.
Yeah, that's not fair to who made that? Who was it?
Gearbox.
It wasn't it. It was
it
Gearbox.
started.
Yeah.
It started.
Who originally made it?
Oh.
3D Realms.
Yeah.
3D Realms. That's right. Yeah.
3D Realms was the guy who was the group that made Duke Nukem 3D,
Yeah.
and they started Forever, and then it switched hands like half a dozen times and wound up at Gearbox.
And they were just
And-
like, we're
and
just going to
somehow-
put it out.
Somehow, Gearbox of all people fucked that up.
I think
Big
they was
Edmonds
more or
up
less, they were
Gearbox
like,
are
they were like, here you go,
Surprising
internet.
no one.
Here's your meme.
Well, Gearbox makes good games. I don't know why they.
Yeah, but I mean, they probably, by the time they bought Duke Nukem Forever, they were probably like, you know what? Let's just finish the game.
Yeah.
Like whatever we bought, let's just finish what's there and get it out.
Yeah,
And
they
just
probably just salvaged it.
fuck it.
Internet
That's a shame.
meme.
Dude, 'cause I fucking love Duke Nukem. It's so good. Such a good game.
Just wait. It'll come back around just like Doom did.
Shake
And-
baby.
Dude, that's who should have had it. Bethesda should have fucking. I would have taken Bethesda Doom. I mean, not Doom. Fuck. Duke
Duke
Nukem.
Nukem.
Fill that hole.
I just wish I had a couple of dollars that I could just hold up right now and just go like,
I don't know.
Hey, hold on.
Bethesda.
You wanna dance? You wanna dance?
oh, it's beautiful.
Such a
So
good game.
bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's the general consensus? Are we okay with paying more
I think we
for
are.
higher quality games?
If it's worth it, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Well, there you have it. That is the email. There's your email answer of the week. So I guess that's going to do it for this week's BitCast. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me as always. And Matt, thank you very much for joining us this week on the BitCast.
Crap, you referenced me. I have to move.
It would be rude to just be like,
I know. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh,
It was lots of fun.
we will have to do this again very soon, and I know we will be doing this in PAX. This is definitely. In fact, I just had a fantastic idea for the channel. Come PAX, TJ. I need to talk to you about this because this is going to be grand and glorious. So,
actually, text me right away because I'm going to totally forget as soon as we leave here.
I will send you a message immediately. In fact, if you want to just hang around after the recording, I'll tell you about it. So that's going to do it for this week. Until next time and until next week, this is the VGBits BitCast, and we're signing off. We will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.